handle the truth. You can't handle the truth.
What do all men in power want? More power.
And now, broadcasting live on GMN from an undisclosed location in the Arizona desert. Italian by birth, American by choice. Songwriter, poet, freedom activist, Luca-zanna with Love, Guns, and Freedom.
All systems go.
Don't tread on us. We're not afraid.
Hi everybody, this is Luca-zanna and you're listening to Love, Guns and Freedom on K-Talks 1340 AM and on Guerrilla Media Network. Don't forget also to go to my website, www.lovegunsfreedom.com. Today's Sunday show, it is probably, I think every Sunday it's important. Every Sunday I try to bring you information and facts that pretty much through a dialectical process, I'm trying to share with you. I try to find the truth, because it's not about being right. I don't want to be right. I also, many times, I hope to be wrong, especially when I touch this type of topics. I always pray that I am wrong. Unfortunately, the evidence and the logic bring me to the fact that there is so much that we need to face. And the purpose of the show, as I said, it is not about being right, but about bringing evidence, facts, and news that normally other media do not want to touch. And today is a very controversial topic, but I think it's very important because unfortunately we've been manipulated, we've been pretty much conditioned and mind-controlled with different social and news events and tragic events that have been unfortunately not just happened by nature, but they've been planned. More important, when I think about something that really disturbed me, it is not just about the evidence that today I want to bring with this special guest that is waiting for me right now. It is also about when somebody just trying to ask questions to the government, a government that's supposed to work for the people, and instead of having answers, that should be the normal thing, is going to get threat. And this is very bad, because this is not supposed to be not a country where citizens, law-abiding citizens, are afraid to speak up or ask questions. Last time I checked, when I left Italy and I came to America, this is supposed to be America, where we have a freedom of speech and we have the right to question and petition our government. Seems like things are changing. Now, I want to talk today about something, the most important thing that I also believe is very well connected to the topic of this show. We talk about guns in this show, of course. Second Amendment. When I mention Sandy Hook, I'm sure many of you know what type of jerk reaction, what type of knee-jerk reaction Congress and the administration is trying to have, they try to have, and they try to push on us with the pretty much irresponsible legislation to try to curtail and destroy our Second Amendment rights. Today I have a guest that I've been studying about him the last year, and I found a lot of respect for him, not only for his intelligence and his logic when he brings in out facts that nobody else really ever tried to touch, but also when he comes down with the courage to ask questions when most of the people, the population, under the control, emotional control of the media, they pretty much never want to even listen to this information. His name is Wolfgang-halbig. Wolfgang, are you there?
Yes, I am, and thank you, Luca, for having me on your program today.
Thank you very much. I would like to go straight to business with you because the information is so much, and more important, we have 1 full hour to share all the work that you've been doing, evidence. I'm talking about evidence, facts, logic, not emotions, just sticking to the facts. Before we go ahead and we talk a little bit about all the work that you've been doing, because you've been covering this Sandy Hook probably more than anybody else I found out there, I would like to pretty much share your background, because this is very important to know who you are, where are you from, and also what is your life, because you have a lot of credibility, in my opinion. Please go ahead, Wolfgang-halbig. Talk about yourself.
Well, thank you. Look, my life really started, at age 12 when I came to this country. I mean, I came from Germany to the United States at age 12. I grew up in a little town called Avon Park, Florida, and I couldn't speak a word of English. And I can tell you, I was frightened. I was scared. And one of the things that I really wanted more than anything is to be a U.S. citizen. So I focused on becoming an American citizen. I graduated from high school. I went to Abilene Christian University on a football scholarship, best education I ever got. Graduated, and for some reason, my mother was in a really, really bad accident. She almost died, and I met a Florida State Trooper that just somehow took care of her. And guess what? He touched my life, and I became a Florida State Trooper. I worked in Miami in 1974 through 1977. And look, I worked at a time, and people don't remember this, I worked when we had no paramedics or EMTs. We had no trauma centers. We had no Lifestar helicopters or trauma helicopters. When we responded to an emergency, it was us. People depended on us saving their lives. So I've seen death almost every day in Miami. And one of the things that I will never forget is when you have to do a death notification, you wind up going to someone's stranger's house at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. You've got to knock on the door, and the light comes on, and you're about to deliver absolutely the most heartbreaking news that you could ever give anyone. And look up when you see the faces, the tears, the heartaches that I just brought onto a family that I don't even know.
Yes.
And so I've lived it. And then I have to take those family members in my patrol car. I've got to take them to the morgue so they can identify the bodies. And everything that I've learned in my lifetime has a relationship to Sandy Hook. It's not like I'm coming out of nowhere. I've lived it. I became a school administrator. I was a dean of students, assistant principal. I've been a head football coach, baseball coach. I've lived a life of public service. And so eventually I became a director of school safety for a school district of 65,000 students.
Wow.
And yes, we had shootings, we had stabbings, yes, we had gang members. So everything that I bring on your show today and in my investigation as a national school safety consultant is I lived that part. I've seen it. I know what it looks like. I just don't see that at Sandy Hook, Luca.
I understand. Now, before we go ahead, let's start first of all with the official version of the media, at least what we've been told here watching TV, and let's remind the listeners exactly what we've been told, please, because you're very well informed on both sides, of course, what we've been told and what you discovered, or at least what you did not find out. Tell us exactly, remind us briefly, what is the official version of the Sandy Hook mass murdering crime?
Well, on December 14, 2012, everybody, I think they'll remember, it's probably the most traumatic school shooting in elementary school history. And I think everybody will remember that day. And you need to ask yourself, where were you? What were you doing? And I remember where I was. And when I turned on that television and I saw the breaking news, I tell you what, I could not get away from CNN or CBS or ABC. They touched my heart. I trust the news media. And I can promise you this, after this event, I never will ever trust any national news media for what they say. I do not trust them. When you can get on the national news and they're telling us that the shooter's mother was a teacher at that school, that was a lie. That's what got us hooked. Think about it. You got these people telling you that the mother of the shooter who shot and killed 20 children and 6 teachers was the best kindergarten teacher that the school ever has known. And then to find out a week later that she is never taught in that school.
Wow.
I mean, you have got to be kidding me. See, that is a hook. It got us tied emotionally, and we were looking for a motive. And I think the motive is that when we found out, or the news media tells you that Adam Lanza is autistic, he has Asperger's, and so you're trying to show jealousy. Maybe the mother loved the children more at the school. He got angry. He got upset because she's spending more time there. So they were trying to hook us with emotions, with our feelings, and they lied to us on that day, Luca.
Yes, and I completely understand. Unfortunately, even me, coming from a country like Italy, a little naive at the beginning, 16 years ago, I realized pretty soon when I started to study history, not of just this government, but of any government, unfortunately. There was a book written by Niccolò Machiavelli called Il Principe, The Princeps, that pretty much justify any type of mean to acquire power or more power for the rulers. And in special forces, especially when you're above the level of captain, they make you study this book, and the technical name they call these operations, they're called false flags. And I'm not saying now this is exactly what happened here, but for sure we know one thing. There's been, and now you will bring the case, we will bring the facts, the evidence, and the people, we have the opportunity to decide. In my opinion, after studying this case, after all the evidence you brought up, and many other people also been bringing up, this is exactly, they are all the elements of what you can call a false flag. It means that it's an operation that pretty much it is an emotional operation to try to create a reaction into the public, to have a problem, then to have a reaction, and then they will offer us the solution. And the solution, when I say go back to the cui bonus, who is going to benefit out of this? For sure, not the people. We the people, we're going to be compromised with our rights every time we do not wake up and understand what I'm trying to say here. False flags, it is not the first time. It comes to the history. If we look just the last 30 years, we're talking about Oklahoma City, we're looking at 9/11, we look at many other things. So, and let's not forget Operation Northwood. People should Google it up. They classify CIA documents under the Kennedy administration that pretty much they were trying to do the same thing, like in 9/11. So now, let's go with the facts. Let's tell us exactly what did you bring. Now, let's think this is like a trial, okay? A trial of the opinion. We need to try to share this evidence and facts with our listeners, and we want to let them decide after all the evidence you bring. And then I would like also to focus very much what type of threat, what type of hard time you've been going through, because the government, the same government is supposed to serve us and work for us. Every time you've been asking questions to these authorities, how they call themselves, been pretty much stonewalled. Go ahead, please, Wolfgang.
Luca, I'm really a nobody. I'm a guy who just worked in public service for 36 years. You and I would have probably never, ever met or be talking today if it were not, they send 2 homicide investigators a week before Christmas from the Lake County Sheriff's Office to my home. They threatened me. They intimidated me, my wife, my grandchildren, and what they simply said that if I do not stop immediately asking questions about Sandy Hook, that the Connecticut State Police were coming to arrest me and charge me and put me in jail.
Charge you with
now,
what?
I'm thinking naturalized U.S. citizen, freedom of speech. Am I missing something here?
Yeah. And what are the charges? Because I would like to know, charge you with what? What is exactly the charge? What are
they
you
told
doing?
me they were going to charge me with harassment.
Harassment?
And I'm sitting there going, harassment? And when we talk about the questions that I'm concerned about as a national school safety consultant, I mean, the questions are so simple. And when you talk about the jury, I want every parent, every grandparent who's a listener on your show, I want every police officer in the community, paramedic, EMT who's listening to your show today, have the courage, stand up, listen to the facts, you decide. Luca, you're just giving them the facts. Let them decide. It's not my opinion. I only use their words. So please listen to the facts.
Okay, let's start with the case. Okay, we're in front of the jury of the opinion of the people listening. And please, first of all, what is the first thing that really, in your opinion, makes no sense? Something that it's almost illogical. It cannot be the way they told us. What is the first thing that really came to your attention? This is not what we've been told about Sandy Hook.
Well, the first thing, remember, I used to be a school administrator. I used to be a principal. And Luca, when I have children that have been stabbed or shot or cut with a box cutter, guess what? The first thing I want to make sure is that we neutralize the threat. Whoever the person is who's shooting or stabbing, we neutralize it. And then what I got to do as a principal, I got to get the best medical providers in here to save those children from dying. And the first thing that caught my attention, why in the world did they not order any trauma helicopters for those children who've been shot 3 to 11 times and the teachers? And why would somebody not pick up the dadgum phone and call for trauma helicopters?
Wow, that's interesting. Now, and there is more, by the way. Let's first of all look at also this perpetrator, or at least what the media told us was the perpetrator. Who is this guy? I mean, this is like an underweight, skinny little guy, and it seems like he was able to bring pretty much a lot of firepower with him and to break into a window. I mean, it seems like no training and no any type of physical, body to support all that. I mean, what do you think really happened there, in your opinion?
Well, before we go there, just remember, the national news media, Luca, never, ever question why did somebody not order trauma helicopters? Yeah. That was the big red flag for me. The news media should have been all over the incident commander, and they should have made them be held accountable, and they didn't. And then you have a young man named Adam Lanza, which we found out supposedly was the shooter. Luca, he's autistic. He has Asperger's. He weighs 112 pounds. He's malnourished. Wow. I mean, he's 6 feet tall, and he's going to carry 40-some pounds of guns and ammunition and handguns, and he's going to have a 96% kill ratio within 8 minutes. There isn't a Navy SEAL, FBI agent, Secret Service agent that is that good of a shot. Yeah. And if anybody understands autism and Asperger's, most of those children are not well coordinated. So how do you have a 96% kill ratio?
Yeah. Now, this is very important. That's why when I started to watch your YouTubes and other YouTubes bring in this evidence, that right there I said this is something terribly wrong. Now, another important thing, the police response, the law enforcement response. Please tell us a little bit. Something was wrong there, too. I mean, it didn't seem like a standard protocol to me.
Well, it's not, because remember, I was an expert witness at Columbine. I got to study Columbine because it was one of the biggest national news media events where 14 students were shot and killed. That's the word active shooter. When you hear today active shooter response, that is a result directly out of Columbine. Because there, the SWAT team and the paramedics, nobody went in for 3 hours. Today's standard is when you hear shots fired in the school, your highest priority is to get to that school, to get inside, don't wait for SWAT, and you neutralize the threat, and then you get all the medical help you can get, because your job is to save those children and teachers. It did not happen, Luca.
Yeah, no, I understand. This is... And you have on your website, by the way, that I would like to remind to everybody, is sandyhookjustice.com. And I will also post the link on my website, www.lovegunsfreedom.com. It's going to be a permanent link, because this is very important that everybody must go to your website, sandyhookjustice.com. You have 16 questions that demand the truth. And I think they are very, very important for this. And I would like just to go through some of them, for example. And I would like to let you choose which questions you think they are more important to make this case. Go ahead, please.
Well, look at the thing that we have to do, you and I as partners, we have to get your listeners to pretend, they really have to pretend that they're a parent or a grandparent who has a child in an elementary school today. Can you imagine hearing the worst news on the radio today, shots fired at your child's school, you race there, your heart is racing, and then you find out children have been shot, seriously injured, no trauma helicopters. Then you find out that they never, ever, throughout the entire day, Luca, did they allow the paramedics or the EMTs to go inside to treat the children.
Wow.
Now, who was the incident commander that made that decision not to let the medical help go inside?
Wow. Wow, this is amazing. I mean, right there, I mean, it makes no sense. I mean, let's say even everybody was dead. First of all, they need to be verified. And I know that according to the Florida's law, there is only a doctor can pretty much declare the state of death, correct?
In Connecticut, that's what the law is.
Yes.
In that Connecticut where those children were shot, only a doctor can declare them legally dead. And then if you look at the Connecticut pediatric protocols for children with gunshot wounds, the rule, I mean, this is law. This is not Wolfgang saying it.
Yes.
The law says that once you neutralize the threat and it's safe, those children need to be transported. They need to get to a trauma center as quickly as possible. Even if there's no pulse. Guess what? You still transport them, you get them to the hospital, because we've seen people with no pulse be revived. They never bothered to even let the paramedics in to check them out.
Wow. So, and by the way, did we ever have a chance to see the bodies, or the family? Did they ever have a chance to see the bodies of these victims?
Well, let me tell you, parents, grandparents, if you're listening today, can you imagine this? You find out that your first grade child was shot and killed, and then you've been notified that, they're going to be taken to the morgue. And then when you get to the morgue, because you want to be with your child, you're told that you can never see or touch your child. Wow. Let me tell you what, Luca, they put me in jail. I'd tear that door down. I would do whatever I have to do to be with my baby. You're not going to stop me from holding my child, kissing my child. I'm not going to let my child be in that morgue all by themselves. That is so uncallous. It's cruel. And for the medical examiner to say on national TV, well, we showed them a picture of their child so they can identify them. Luca, that's not the America. That's not who we are as parents.
No, I understand, and I believe it. This is something that makes no sense. No human being would ever let this happen to themselves and to their children. I mean, it's normal. Let's say somebody, but we're talking about no parents ever really wanted to watch the bodies at the morgues of their children. I mean, doesn't make any sense. But there is.
Remember, Luke, I said earlier in the program is when I was a state trooper and I used to have loved ones I have taken to the morgue. Luca, I watched them. When they go inside the morgue and you pull back the white sheet, I'm going to tell you what, you watch them hug, you watch them kiss, and after a while it takes every ounce of energy to pry them away from their loved one. That's what that should have looked like at Sandy Hook. Those parents should have been in that morgue. They should have been hugging, kissing. I mean, that is their baby. And not for them to be allowed to touch them? Who does that today?
So we have any evidence of their bodies?
None whatsoever.
Okay. Now, who are these supposed to be parents that they're acting like they lost their children? I mean, I saw some of their videos, and sometimes I understand that I'm trying to play the devil's advocate. Under stress, people smiles or laugh like a crazy person. But it seems like there is a pattern that really makes no sense. I mean, I invite anybody out there listening to the show to start to watch some of the witnessing of these interviews on controlled mainstream media of these supposed to be parents of these victims. They're laughing. They're smiling. I mean, it's almost like a game, like some sort of a video contest, TV contest. I mean, something is not right there, just as it's pretty much feeling, looking at them. But the problem that is more cold fact. There are more cold facts, like even the way the police officers, they've been reacting during this tragedy, or this exactly was supposed to be a tragedy. For example, I see here, like in question number 15 that people can find at www.sandyhookjustice.com. Why would a police officer by the name Lieutenant Van Gel, if I read it right, at 9:45 a.m. on 12/14/2012 from MPD, after finding a female kindergartner in the hallway, make her go into room number 8 and leave her there. Room 8 was supposedly the gruesome crime scene with dead children and school staff. First of all, where did we get this information? Through the police report, radio communication?
Yes, everything that you're reading right now comes... Now, think about this. This is written under their sworn police affidavits.
Wow.
That means if any police officers, like Lieutenant Bengali, lies on his police affidavit, it's a felony. So I'm taking his words, saying that he found his little girl out in the hallway, he grabs her, and he pushes her back into room 8, and he tells her, stay here, I'll be back.
Wow.
And what the average parent or grandparent doesn't understand, that is the worst crime scene. All those children have been shot 3 to 11 times. There's blood splatter, bodily fluids. I mean, there should be... She just got through hearing 80 shots being fired by an AR-15. And he sends her back in that classroom all by herself?
Yeah, that's amazing.
That is cruel.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. And there is more, by the way. I really... There's like all different parts of a puzzle that maybe... individually may say, okay, it was just an overlook or was a mistake. No, then you look at all this together. There is a pattern of completely deception, lying, and there is more. For example, question number 7 that you put out, who was the certified environmental biohazard decontamination company contracted by Newton Public School to remove approximately between 45 and 65 gallons of blood and skull fragments, brain tissue, I mean, all these bodily parts. I mean, as a very legitimate question, and you don't have any answer yet. We don't know who was the company that did this operation of decontamination, and we have no idea yet, right?
Well, remember, everything that we're talking about today comes out of Columbine. When I was at Columbine, I watched the biohazard company that was contracted by the school board to have to come in and clean up all of that blood, all of those bodily fluids. I saw it. I saw how it works. I know who has to do it. I know how you have to be certified and follow certain protocols. When I asked that same question for the Sandy Hook school board members, they refused to answer that question. Remember, it's taxpayer monies that pay for the biohazard cleanup.
Exactly.
We have a right to know who the company is, when did they come in, when did they clean it up, how many days were they there. Luca, for 17 months, they have refused to answer that simple question. And you know Columbine wasn't torn down.
Wow.
Columbine was the most horrific crime scene I've ever seen. The media center, the cafeteria, I mean, they tried to blow it up. They tried to kill as many kids as they could, and thank God many of the bombs didn't go off, but had they, many more would have died. So biohazard, simple question that should get an answer, and they refused to answer it. Why?
Wow. So let's now, and this is, there is more. There are more facts there, and there is so much to go through. Now, let's start to think, for example, now, what we don't know, or at least what we're not being told, what we try to ask and we never get the answer. Now, what do you think really happened? And this is just your opinion now, because unfortunately I wish we had all the answers that we could have better facts. But now, what do you think, according to your experience, first of all, what did not happen there? Let's put it this way. What did not happen at Sandy Hook, according to your experience and according to your research that you did all these years?
Well, the first thing that you said on the show that I really appreciate you saying, I pray to God every day that I'm wrong. I don't like being where I'm at today. I don't want to accuse anybody of lying or telling, huge lies. I hope I am so wrong. But the facts speak for themselves, okay? The facts speak for themselves. When those police officers came to my house and I submitted those Connecticut Freedom of Information Act requests. That is the nicest and best way for people to get information, because a government is supposed to be transparent, and when tax dollars are being spent, we the people have a right to know how it's being spent. Luca, for 17 months, I asked questions that are so simple, they're not offensive, they're not rude, they're not disrespectful, and when they refuse to answer me, then I do not believe children and teachers died on that day. Now, if they were to answer those questions in the proper way, then I would say, yes, children and teachers died. So they have done everything they can to block me, to harass me, to intimidate me. I actually flew to Newtown, and I spoke before the Newtown school board members, asking them, please, I'm begging them to answer those questions. And you know what? They didn't say a word.
Wow. No, this is, for me, is very important, because as I said, if we do not stand up right now as a human beings, as Americans, to investigate, to not be afraid to ask questions, we will lose everything we already have pretty much almost lost. The fact that now we are living under this tyranny, and just in the last 16 years, 15 years since I come to this country, and since 2001, 9/11, 2001, we've been losing all our rights, because all in pretty much as answer to security, to this big threat, and this emotional knee-jerk reaction, we will become complete slave. And this is the time that not just you, my dear friend, that you're there, you've been doing all you can try to do, to investigate. We all have the duty to ask questions about everything happened. And now, Sandy Hook, even if we do not live in Connecticut and we are here somewhere minding our business, it's all going to be our responsibility as Americans, first of all, for the truth, and more important, for the future and for the presence of our generation and our rights. Because the point is always this one, cui bono, who is going to benefit, who was trying to benefit out of this action, of simulated action. We already know there was a very strong plan by the Obama administration that is not in just with Obama. This has been going through many administrations, but the idea is that the American people supposed not to have anymore the right of the Second Amendment. And unfortunately, I see that in the state of Connecticut, this propaganda, or whatever they told to us, it's been working, because legislation to pretty much reduce and to stop the right of the people to exercise the Second Amendment is pretty much been succeeding. They passed legislation in Connecticut, and they were trying to very hard to pass legislation at federal level. So that would be the first layer of in my opinion, what is exactly cui bono, who is going to benefit out of this. I mean, there is always a mass murdering before any type of removal of our rights. Now, what do you think, your opinion, how this is going to end? Because right now we have 2 years into this, and you've been trying very, very hard. And I feel very sorry sometimes, because, I wish more people like you coming out, We're supposed to be, all of us, we should all ask Freedom Information Act from every part of the states. Think about it. They try to come after you. I will ask myself now, if I find out where to get it, I'm sure I can get it. Maybe you can give us some help. The same office, the same place where you file for Freedom Information Act, the duty of every American citizen should be to file for this Freedom Information Act. At least they start to see this is no more about wolfgang-halbig trying to be the pain in the butt. We all are looking for the truth. And that would be the most powerful thing we can show to these pervert criminals, alleged criminals, that they pretty much, we are not afraid, and we will not let you stand alone.
And this is not about wolfgang-halbig. This is about America. It's about we the people. It's about using children and teachers as props. And did you ever notice the national news media with all their famous helicopters never ever showed where the other 600 children were that morning?
Yeah.
Every school shooting that we watch on the national news at night, we see children running with their hands above their heads, screaming, police officers with their guns. And did you notice at Sandy Hook, we can't find 600 kids being evacuated. And the other one that really bothers me, no trauma helicopters. They don't let the paramedics and EMTs in to save the children. But did you know, as of today, not one of those parents has filed a lawsuit against the school district. You know, that's unheard of.
Yeah.
Every school shooting, parents file lawsuits.
Yeah.
So why have they not? See, that's a great question. But you know what? Nobody wants to answer it. Why have they not filed lawsuits?
Yeah. And also another thing I think is very important. Normally, there is always, first of all, after something like that, such a terrible event, there is something that is connected to other terrible events. For example, Oklahoma City, in 9/11, the towers, they always want to remove the evidence. I mean, we're talking about buildings get demolished and get pretty much put in off-limits places, like it happened with Oklahoma City. The federal building was pretty much taken care and removed off the site as evidence immediately by a private company, and the same private company was also in charge of removing 9/11 the towers material and was shipped to China. This evidence. The same story, or at least pretty similar, here Sandy Hook. For what correct me if I'm wrong, the evidence, or at least the buildings, they were demolished, correct?
Right, they tore it completely down as fast they could. And also remember, what the listeners don't know, that school was the biggest toxic waste dump.
Wow.
It had more lead paint throughout the entire school. It had high levels of asbestos,
Wow.
placing children and teachers in serious health risk. It has high level of PCP, contaminated groundwater for drinking.
Wow.
I mean, it was a toxic waste dump. There shouldn't have been any children going to that school to begin with.
Like 9/11, the two towers, they were pretty much given time to be taking care of the asbestos problem. It was going to cost probably $1 billion cleanup. And casually, the towers went down after, of course, the owner of the towers pretty much bumped up his insurance for terrorist act just a few months before, Mr. Larry Silverstein. But now focusing on this one, I really find that it's disturbing the fact that, first of all, this evidence, this place is supposed to be at least examined by the media, by the public, and not instead was completely destroyed. And correct me if I'm wrong, also the company and the workers, they were pretty much now given the contract to rebuild Sandy Hook. They have to sign an agreement of complete confidentiality, correct?
And that has never, ever been heard of. Can you imagine all the workers at 9/11 having to sign confidentiality agreements?
Yeah.
Now, why do you go to Sandy Hook, where you only had 3 areas in the entire school that were affected? I mean, think about it. It's just 3 areas, and they tore the whole school down. But then you go to Columbine, they rebuild and redesign the media center, they redesigned the cafeteria, and the school still stands there today.
Wow.
So it really makes you wonder what's really happening in Connecticut.
Wow. I would like to remind to the listeners that you're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom on K-Talks 1340 AM and on Guerrilla Media Network. And the special guest today is Mr. Wolfgang-halbig, and is an American, a naturalized American like myself, and I appreciate so much his effort, his courage, and his courage to stand for questions and truth. This is not just anymore about what really happened at Sandy Hook. Of course, we want to know. It is about the right of every one of us to petition our government, our public servant, and I hope even people that they believe that this is just a bunch of whatever, first of all, please, before you judge, try to at least look at facts and evidence. Don't just believe what the media tell us. Just look and think with your brain. But more important now, let's stick with one thing I believe we can all get along, or at least we can agree. Should we have the right to question our government and our public servant? Questioning, it is not a crime. And I believe that when somebody like Mr. Wolfgang-halbig is been just trying to ask questions, for me, I don't care anymore about what he was asking or what evidence he has. The fact that it's been treated and it's been tried to stonewalled and treated like a criminal, that's enough for me to stand up with him. Now, how is your life? What's going on with your life right now after all this move, this sort of a dust that you've been creating? Any repercussions, any IRS audit, anything going on with you?
No, I have a company called Children's Safety Institute, and this is to help parents in school districts that have children with autism and Asperger's. I'm trying to help them, teach them how to restrain them properly and have some interventions before children get out of control. My company has been destroyed by people calling me a fraud, a scammer, a huckster. I'm actually now being accused that I'm not even a real German, that I was never naturalized. What they're doing to me and what they're doing to my family is unbelievable. I've been blackballed as a national school safety consultant. And Luca, I have traveled the country. I bet you I've trained over 150,000 teachers, school administrators, police officers. It is my lifetime of work. And now, because I'm simply asking those questions that you and I are talking about, they're destroying my life.
And that's why I really, feel for you and I pray for you. And I hope all the listeners, even in the future, you're going to listen to this broadcasting, okay? Because this show is going to be on the air, also is going to be on the internet. It also will stay in the archives on YouTube and wherever way you're going to find it. You're going to listen to this. I want you to remember in the future, wherever you're listening to this, not everybody was under the spell to be afraid to speak up for truth. And I would like to pretty much celebrate your courage and your oath, because you, as a peace officer, when you were serving as a police trooper, state trooper, and also as a naturalized American, I know because I took the same oath, you upholding your oath to defend this republic against all enemies, foreign and domestic, and to defend the Constitution. This is what it's about now. This is not just about trying to get any type of, hobby or things that I have nothing better to do. This is about standing for the truth, and more important now, also standing for pretty much defending the rights of the people of America. Because if people don't understand that what they're trying to do here is not just some sort of a B-movie or some acting scene that would be criminal enough. This is all pretty much planned to try to destroy our rights through an emotional process of problem, reaction, solution. This has been doing, they've been doing that for years, for centuries. Governments, normally, that's what they do to control people, through fear. So let's have the courage, like Mr. Wolfgang-halbig has, to at least ask questions. And it should be the duty of all of us. And I feel sorry. And I know one day you're going to be rewarded in this life on the other one. Meanwhile, I would like to do everything I can to at least to let you know that you're not alone. And we need to start to really stand up with you. Now, how can people help you in this process?
Luca, the only way that you and I will ever find the truth is getting the people that are involved in this conspiracy and this fraud. I'm going to take them to court. I've got my first document ready to be filed in the federal court. I'm going to get these people under deposition. I'm going to get them to raise their right hand.
Wow.
And guess what? I'm going to get them in the room where we're the controller, not them. And so if people want to help, we have to pay for legal expenses. The attorneys do not want to do this for free.
Wow.
And so if they like to donate a quarter, I'd rather have 1 million people at 25 cents.
Yeah.
And it's not the money, it's the fact I have 1 million people supporting us.
Wow.
But we need financial help. We need, if you know anybody, just donate. Go to the website, Sandy Hook. There's a PayPal button. And if you can't, just spread the message.
Okay, listen, I'm going to do right now while I'm talking to you. I am right now here at sandyhookjustice.com. I love this idea of this civil lawsuit because
it's got to happen. If we don't hold them accountable,
yes,
then what have we really, really accomplished?
I agree. This is the smart thing to do. At this point, under oath, it's your right to pretty much have your day in court and ask questions. And yes, I would like to donate immediately $20, and this is my little contribution.
You,
and any one of us, as you said, even just $1, it is not because the money. It is to show that you are not alone, and every one of us now has the opportunity to do something. By the way, where do you live? Where exactly are you residing right now? Where do you live, Wolfgang?
I live in Sorrento, Florida. It's a suburb of Orlando, Florida.
Yeah.
In Lake County, Florida, and I'm retired. I mean, I just want to play with my grandkids, but when they came to my house, I'm now going to their house.
Wow. So you've been traveling also, I believe, to Connecticut quite often, correct?
I've been there 4 times, and I'll probably go up there again next month. There's a young man named Jonathan Wright that's been arrested for asking questions. Now, I haven't been arrested yet, but they threatened me. But they actually arrested a 22-year-old boy from New York for asking the same questions that I am.
Okay.
He got arrested, Luca. They put him in jail. He had to post a $50,000 bail.
Wow.
They have destroyed his family.
Wow. Yes, because they come after you with everything they can find to find dirt and try to make you fearful even just to open your mouth. Now, I would like to ask you something, because every one of us at this point can decide if they can do, besides support you monetarily, with economically, to try to fuel this lawsuit. Also, I'd like to hear what type of questions and who are the people that we should ask questions so we all can go to jail. Give me, please, briefly, what questions really would irritate the hell out of these bastards, and who are the people that we should ask questions? So I'm going to start to call these people probably by tomorrow.
Well, I think if you go remember the website that I have,
yes,
Luca, I have 2 Connecticut state troopers who trusted me, and they called me up and they say, Wolfgang, can you fly to Hartford, Connecticut? We want to show you the scripts that they used on that day. I actually, on my website, posted the script that the Newtown police officers had to use. Now, can you believe that? They had to use a script.
Yeah, I see here, Sandy Hook script, part 1, part 2, part 3,
I've
part 4.
given you everything, Connecticut state troopers. And I don't know if you ever have seen a picture of the shot-out glass window. Mm-hmm. Have you ever seen that hole in the window at the school?
I saw that. It's a page in the
information.
information.
You know that under sworn affidavits, I want the listeners to really, really think about this one. In the sworn police affidavits, they say that 16 SWAT team, highly trained Connecticut state troopers, they climbed through that window to get inside the Sandy Hook school. Mm-hmm. Now, do you honestly believe that?
No.
The Three Stooges wouldn't even do that. They would send in Curly and open the door for the other 2.
Yeah. There's a lot of evidence.
They are lying under oath, and it's all in the script.
Yeah.
And so you should call the Newtown B.
Okay.
That's the number one part of the conspiracy. When they posted those children being evacuated, remember that in that Congo line?
Yes.
Those pictures were not taken that day.
Wow.
The temperature is 28 to 30 degrees outside.
Wow. This is...
And I have and Luca, what I have is not just me saying it. Mm-hmm. I have the timestamp photos showing they were not taken on that day. So I would never, ever say anything to your listeners, police officers, anyone listening, that if I didn't have it. Remember, we have to give it to the jury. The jury has to decide.
Yeah. And just for the record, you are happy with your life, and you do not believe in suicide, and you would never...
Oh, no, I went to my doctor. I had a complete physical. I told him crystal clear, I'm Catholic. Yeah. I do not believe in suicide. I am happy. I have a beautiful family, and no.
Good.
But I see things... people are trying to come to my house. I live in a gated community.
Yeah.
It's getting interesting.
Yeah. Listen, I believe that this is my philosophical opinion about this. And, the show is called Love, Guns, and Freedom. It is not just only about this materialistic dimension that we live in, of course. I believe that in this dimension, in my opinion, it's our trial to show where we stand, standing for the truth, standing for good against evil. And I believe one day we'll be judged.
I agree. And also for all of your listeners, and I hope you agree, Sandy Hook, I believe in my lifetime, before I pass on, it's a game changer. When the people in America really find out the truth about what they did to us at Sandy Hook, I think they'll wake up, and I think they'll start holding our government more accountable.
Exactly. And another thing, I don't want to derail from Sandy Hook, but unfortunately they're all connected. Did you ever had a chance to study the case of Oklahoma City bombing and also of 9/11?
No, I really don't, because, see, look, what I got to make sure I stay focused on is being a national school safety consultant.
Yes.
I got to be an expert at that. And if I start looking at Oklahoma and, Boston, they're going to call me a conspiracy crazy person, okay?
I completely agree with you. And this is just, regardless, you're doing great. You're focusing on one thing like a bulldog, and you're going for that, and that's beautiful. The only thing, unfortunately for us as our brain, and probably you already had a chance, it's good to see how sometimes things that are not just isolated facts. And unfortunately, the conspiracy, yes, exists. It's against us, we the people, humanity. And if Sandy Hook was able to happen, it didn't happen just because now out of the blue, these people, they got cocky and arrogant. Unfortunately, they were able, with facts like you, and this is, I'm talking for myself, of course, I'm not speaking for you. According to the evidence I've been able to study since I woke up, because, I came here to America, I had no idea about what's going on with all these things. But after 9/11, I had a chance to understand that there is more than what we've been told. And the operation that they happened in Sandy Hook, it is nothing new. And I invite all the listeners to, first of all, focusing on this topic, on Sandy Hook, and more important, start to look back and start to look at the history of this operation called false flags. And there is so much more we've never been told about Oklahoma City, 9/11, and please do not shut down with fear to be judged by society, because one day all this is going to come true, and you want to leave at least behind you a legacy that you are not an idiot, you are not afraid to stand for truth. That's all it is about, seriously. But yes, I applaud you. I think you're doing great to focus in on one thing only. This is the one that you need to pursue. And maybe this was your call in life. Besides to be a father and a grandfather and a peace officer and defender of the Constitution and naturalized American, I think probably this, in my opinion, from outside, the way I look at this maybe is going to be one of your most important things you ever done as a human being. I really applaud you for that, and I really want to thank you from my heart.
Well, remember I say Sandy Hook is a game changer. I think we can prove that the government conspired and committed this fraud, but I think it opens up Boston bombing. It opens up 9/11. Mm-hmm. It's going to open up Oklahoma City bombings, things that I've never looked at, but it will allow us to look at other things. So that's why we need everybody helping us with Sandy Hook. That is the game changer. It'll break the government's back.
Yes, and also I would like to remind to the listeners that they are new to this type of information. Please, have an open mind. As I said, we are not here to be right. I wish all this was a bunch of crazy things and everything was nice. But look around. Look 1 second which society we're living. You think we are living in a free society anymore? This is the America that your fathers and grandfathers grew up? I'm sorry. Things are changing, and they're changing for a reason, because we let it happen. And
Luca, you just said changing, and you said something early in the show that I really, really remember is laws are being changed because of Sandy Hook.
Yes.
It's affecting the Second Amendment. It's affecting our freedom of speech. But here's the one that's coming that nobody sees. Connecticut has just passed the law, the legislature, that any parent who wants to homeschool their child, now think about all your listeners, who today, they don't trust the school system, so they homeschool their child. In Connecticut, the law now says that if you want to be homeschooling your child has to have a complete mental health examination.
Wow. So the government, the state can tell you if you can.
It is. It's mental health. The government now is kicking in, opening up the market for psychiatrists, psychologists, and the pharmaceutical industry. You don't think those people are going to be writing prescriptions for all kind of antidepressant medicine for these children.
Yeah.
This is a money issue. This government is all about money and making people look good, and they're doing it on the backs of the middle-class hard workers who goes to work every day. They're so busy just taking care of their families. They trust the news media. They're telling the truth, and what they don't see is they're being lied to.
Listen, at this point, I would like to thank you again, and I would like to remind all the listeners, please to go to sandyhookjustice.com. You've been listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with Luca-Zanna and Wolfgang-halbig. My hugs and my love for you, Wolfgang, and please be in touch if you have any updates, anything going on, let us know, please. Thank you.
And I thank you so much for giving me that time today. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
He's a songwriter, a poet, a rifleman.
I'm not afraid.
And a constitutional activist.
I'm not afraid.
Italian by birth.
I'm not afraid.
American by choice. Gianluca Zanna.
I'm not afraid.
And his new CD, Love, Guns, and Freedom. 16 powerful songs on one CD from the heart of a patriot. For download or to order the CD, go to www.lovegunsfreedom.com. That's www.lovegunsfreedom.com. Lyrics for your mind, music for your heart. Gianluca Zanna's new CD, Love, Guns, and Freedom.
Have you ever met someone on an online dating site and thought, wow, this guy is perfect for me, or she is simply amazing, only to find out they were hiding a deep, dark secret? They plan to vote for Hillary. FreedomLovers.us was created for singles who want to exchange ideas and who love for freedom. People who are looking for solutions to create and defend freedom in the real world, and at the same time, getting that once-in-a-lifetime chance to find their true soulmate. Whether you are interested in meeting your soulmate, making new friends, networking, or hanging out with that like-minded liberty lover, visit FreedomLovers.us. It's the first free dating site and community. So patriots, don't waste your time with other dating sites. FreedomLovers.us is the place where like-minded singles really click.
You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with Gianluca Zanna on Guerrilla Media Network. This is Luca Zanna. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom. Second hour, we talk about guns, and we talk also about some events happening right now in America. I have with me on the phone coupe Reynolds that is not right now in Arizona like normally it is, but he is on the western part of America, exactly in Washington State. Coupe, are you there?
Yes, sir, I am. How are you doing this morning, Luca?
Pretty good, pretty good. I heard that you are pretty busy now and you travel all the way. Exactly which part of Washington State?
Luca, we're in Olympia, Washington. As a matter of fact, we're on the grounds of the Capitol building in Olympia. I drove 1,500 miles to be here for this historical event. We are absolutely making history here today. Please,
tell us, first of all, what is the reason why you're there? And what's going on today there?
Luca, Washington just passed, and just the law just went into effect on December 4th. One of the most draconian firearms laws in history, and the stupidest piece of legislation that has ever actually passed, ever, in this country. They passed Initiative 594, which means that you cannot, all transfers, all private transfers of firearms in any manner have to go through a dealer with a background check. Luca, let me tell you what that means.
Please
it
tell
means
us.
if you and I are wanting to go hunting,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm going to hand you my shotgun to go hunting with me, we have to go through a dealer to do that.
Oh,
if
my
you
God.
want to pass down your great-granddad's 22 to your grandson, you have to do it through a dealer.
Wow. This is amazing.
Luca,
This is serious.
if you want to go on a construction job, you know what a Hilti gun is?
No.
Hilti gun is a gun that uses blank cartridges to fire nails into concrete and stuff.
Okay, gotcha.
It's a
Yes.
construction tool.
I got it now. Yes.
Luca, if I want to go on a construction job and I'm the foreman, and I want to tell this laborer to take this Hilti gun over and shoot that board down to the floor, Luca, we've got to go through a dealer to do it the way this law is written.
Oh, my God. This is not surprising, though. But, who is behind this? Because this is not just something happened locally. I know that Washington is under attack by, communist forces a long time. But also there is a big money coming from out of state. Am I right or wrong?
You're very correct. There's a lot of money coming from out of state, primarily Mayor Bloomberg and Bill Gates have put in millions and millions of dollars to get through this. What they did was they bought every single bit of advertising time through the radios and televisions around here that they could, and the NRA and some of these other and the local organizations were not able to purchase any. And that's how they managed to get this through.
And now, today, what's going on with the people of, exactly the event that is happening today, right now, while you're there in front of the Capitol? What exactly the people are expecting to do? I mean, first of all, are they going to comply? Is going to be some sort of civil disobedience? What do you think?
Luca, there are a great number of felonies going on here today. There are people passing guns back and forth in direct violation of Initiative 594. There's a booth set up here, and the booth is the I-594 violation booth, where they've got guns laying on the table. And when you pick up that gun, look at the way this law is written. If you pick that gun up off the table and it doesn't belong to you, you're a felon.
Wow, this is amazing. Because
that's the way it's written.
Listen, I would like to speak with the listeners from around the states, and especially right now from the people of Arizona. Guys, this is serious. I'm laughing because, you want to laugh at these bastards. They really think that they can just put ink on paper and you got to jump because we have to jump because they say so. This is the point that exactly our founding fathers, they realized that there is a point that you got to draw a line in the sand. We go through the civil system, we go through the due process and everything else, the political system. There is a point, though, that they completely corrupt the process. And there is a point, if they tell you that now, because they say so, and they have enough number of idiots out there at the polls that they can put some ink on paper, and that you have to jump off the bridge, doesn't mean that you have to jump off the bridge. At that point, it's your humanity, it's your consciousness, it's your duty as an American to decide what you're going to do with this garbage. And I really applaud you, first of all, to go there. I mean, 1,500 miles, it's a lot of travel. And everybody, I know you got busy, you got problems to take care of family, but, it's very good that you're doing that. And more important, we try to enlighten now our fellow Arizonans that this can happen also here. We are all under attack. Don't you think that it's kind of coincidence that all these state legislations against gun rights, happening exactly at the end of the year in 2 weeks? We have the 24th of December, these small arms treaties with the United Nations.
Yeah, and right now they're Nevada, Oregon, and believe it or not, there's a faction in Arizona that's trying to get the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
There are similar laws passed down there.
Yeah.
We started out this rally by coming and securing the Capitol grounds without a permit.
Yeah.
That defeats the very theme of what we're talking about here. The theme of this rally is I will not comply.
Exactly.
So what do you think we're going to come and ask for a permit and ask permission to have this rally?
Yeah,
No, we will not comply.
Good.
We have the right to peaceably assemble, and by God, we are peaceably assembling today. There's still buses coming in. Right now, there's probably 2,500 to 3,000 people standing here.
Wow.
And the speakers are going. It is an awesome sight. Luca, we've got It reminds me very much of Valley Forge. It's very foggy, it's cold, it's 37 degrees, very wet, and it reminds me of George Washington's group there in Valley Forge.
This is amazing. This is amazing. Thank you very much for sharing this with us, because I'm there with you with the spirit and the prayers. And I tell you, I'm kind of jealous now to know that you're there. I'm here, but I hope everything's going to be okay. And my question is, how many people from the government you see there today? I mean, I'm talking about police or state troopers or whatever.
Well, I tell you, there's a lot of state troopers here, and they are very cooperative. We told them this morning where we were going to park and what we were going to do, and they're telling us, well, you can't do this, you can't do that. And they said, look, this is not a negotiation. We're being polite and telling you what we're going to do. We're not asking you permission to do it.
Excellent.
And everybody backed off, and we're doing just exactly what we had planned to do.
And this is the point,
and it's going real well right now.
Very good, because we have been so brainwashed, that now you need to have a permit to exercise your First Amendment right. Screw you, seriously. Any government entity or politicians or bureaucrat that tell me that I must have a permit to exercise my peaceful right to assemble and exercise my freedom of speech, you have a big problem coming. And I'm so glad you guys, you're standing the ground and you're doing exactly what our founding fathers would have done, at least at this stage. And there is a point, seriously, I'm for peace, I'm for love, I'm for peaceful resolutions, but there is a point when the enemies of humanity, of this Constitution, of our rights, start to be so aggressive, and just because they have the billions of dollars to try to pretty much manipulate the system, they think they can tell us what we can do or not. There is a point we got to tell them, civil disobedience is the first step. I'm not even to tell you that we should fight immediately, but we refuse. I refuse. And don't come close to my guns. At that point, that's become an offense. It depends that I'm going to defend myself. Listen, how long is going to be lasting this event today? All day? What time you think is going to be over?
It should be over between 4 and 5 o'clock. It's a beautiful sight.
Okay.
It's a beautiful sight to see this. It's absolutely awesome. It's amazing.
I hope you can take some videos, or somebody of your friends can take some videos. I would like to watch on YouTube how this is evolving, because unfortunately, I think you're very right. This is spreading around everywhere. And Arizona, even if we are still the best state for Second Amendment rights, we are not completely ever immune from this disease of these parasites try to attack on our rights. So we got to be prepared and work with our legislations, and more important, educating our fellow Americans and Arizonans that this is not about guns. This is about freedom and individual rights. And if the government now, as you were saying, has the authority to tell you that just because I hand you a tool, tomorrow they could do the same thing, by the way, with a hammer. I go with you, like you were saying, on the working site, and every hammer must be legislated and must be regulated. And whenever time I give you a hammer or a saw or maybe a pair of scissors or something, or a knife, why not? A knife, probably they got more killing with knives than murdering with knives than with guns. So that's the scary thing. Now, because the government says so, you have to jump. Jump, slaves, jump. Guess what? We're not jumping. We're jumping on your face. That's what we're going to say to them. Anyway, I really hope there's going to be some resolution about that, because I think something's going to happen. They're pushing it too much. And there is a point that even the most peaceful man or woman, there is a point that you put them in the corner, you put a cat in the corner, you're going to get scratched. That's the message I have for all the bureaucrats, parasites, globalists, because these are globalists. You know very well, Bloomberg is a globalist. What is his name? The other bastard from Microsoft is a globalist. And all globalists, they want a global government, and to obtain a global government, they need a complete defenseless population. That's why they want a bunch of slaves.
Right, exactly.
And it's not going to happen.
That's exactly right, Luca. And if this was just about Washington, I wouldn't have drove 1,500 miles to do it. This is about America.
Yes.
This is about freedom in general. It's not just Washington. I don't care about Washington.
Yes,
but I care about America, and I drove 1,500 miles to prove that.
And on top, another thing, this is a moment that as Americans, as we believe in the same principle of freedom and Constitution and Bill of Rights, we stand together, because it's very honorable for me that people like you drive all the way there to support. Like I know we went there together to support the bandits that even they weren't that far, just in Nevada. We are here to support each other. Of course, we are human beings. We have to work for a living. Different from Bloomberg or from Microsoft bastard Bill Gates, we are working people, but still we sacrifice ourselves and we do everything we can to go there and support our fellow Americans. Listen, I want to leave you with my prayers for you and all the people that there, men and women and children. I know probably there are also children there because they need to see what their fathers they're doing. One thing we can do, we will try everything to do to stop this tyranny. And I think that's the most powerful thing for our next generation. At least we will try and we will make it. But at the same time, we will never give up. That's my personal opinion. Last thing I want to say.
I agree, Luca.
Please, if you have any message you want to say to our Arizona listeners or even people from around the states, because the show Love, Guns, and Freedom is pretty much goes on the internet too. Last message for you, Cop Reynolds. First of all, I would like to also remind who you are and where you operated from, and talk a little bit about your business, please.
Well, Luca, I'm, as you said, Cope Reynolds is my name. I'm with Southwest Shooting Authority. We're primarily into firearms training, but we do spend a lot of time with the Liberty Movement. We spend a lot of time, a lot of money, effort, and sacrifices of my personal things, other things that I should be doing, but there's not anything that's more important to me than our constitutional rights, and that's what this is all about here today. It's not just the Second Amendment. It's not just this particular law. It is our rights in general. It's the Constitution. We are all up here. Look, I'm going to tell you. I'll give you one party thought here.
Yes.
There has not been as many guns in hands of private individuals in one place in this nation, since 1775.
Wow.
There's more guns here today than you've ever seen in one place in your life, I promise you, except on military bases. But in the hands of private individuals, it's not been any time that we've had this many guns in one place.
And I got news for you. Probably on military bases, they don't even have many guns inactive, not in a regular day, because normally they disarm all the soldiers now. You know that when you're on the base, they take your guns away. Look what happened in Texas. Listen, last question. Washington State carry laws. Do they have open carry? I mean, now I'm kind of curious to see.
Yes, they do.
So you can legally open carry. Okay, I understand. That would be very interesting if there was not even that. Anyway, listen, Cop, I really appreciate it. Please keep us posted. You have my phone if there is anything going on, emergency or something that hopefully everything's going to go smooth. But in case something's weird happening, please give us a call, okay?
All right, Luke, I'll do it. Thank you for the opportunity to do this. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Thank you. My prayers are for you. I really respect you. Thank you, Cop.
Thank you, sir. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, this was Cop Reynolds, and you heard him. This is a fight. It's happening right now, and it's not just something that it's for the Washington people, Washington State people. It's happening everywhere. Big money, the big corporations, more important, the big globalists, the New World Order, that I'm never going to get tired to say this over and over, because we need to individualize the crisis. We need to individualize the responsibles. We can't just think now people are getting crazy and, they want to take our rights. Politicians, corruption always been out there. But the point is there is a plan. No more secret anymore. A plan to pretty much enslave humanity. America is the last island left that still has some resemblance of freedom and the Constitution and Bill of Rights there. But if we not enforce it, if we do not defend our rights, our Bill of Rights, it's going to be just a piece of paper with some ink, like George Bush said. Okay? It's our duty to defend this Constitution. It's our duty to defend our rights and the rights for who's coming after us. Now, I would like to play a couple of little audio to understand that what's happening right now, it is not just Washington, but also other states, like in Maryland, like on the East Coast. They are going now more aggressively after our Second Amendment for a simple reason. It is all being planned and orchestrated at global level by the United Nations. And I told you already, we will talk better next week. We will have an expert about the United Nations. But the point is, the 24th of December, in just a few days, according to Obama's book, without even the ratification by the Senate, just because Mr. Skull and Bones, Secret Society, Kerry, former Senator Kerry, signed a treaty with the United Nations, this small arms treaty, they think in their book that it's going to happen. And I remind you, even if the Senate ratified, something that is not going to happen probably, still would be unconstitutional according to a Supreme Court case. Every treaty against the Constitution is null and void. So they're doing it in a different way. They try to implement this draconian anti-rights, anti-gun rights legislation at state level because they think they can get away with that. Guess what? I right now pledge in front of God, in front of the American people, in front of my soul, that I will never comply with any of this garbage. Okay? At that point, I think every one of us must decide what they want to do. And I'm not a hero. I'm a regular guy, okay? I love life. I love my peace. I'm a peaceful man. I like my pasta. I like my wine. I like to go at the range. I like painting. I like writing songs. I'm a guy that loves life. But guess what? I love my freedom and my dignity more than my life. I want that you, government leeches, or anybody out there that is trying to, like a roach, to plot to destroy our Second Amendment or our basic fundamental rights enumerated in the Bill of Rights, you put that in your very shrinky brain, okay? Rather die than become your slave. Now let's listen to this little part of audios that I was able to get from different immigrants, former immigrants, like myself. I was a former national, Italian national, and I became an American the 25th of April of 2005. Listen to their voices, because I think it's very important to understand that what these people are saying is based on facts. Okay? You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with Luca-Zanna. So stay tuned.
My name is Manuel Martinez, born in Cuba. American citizens for more than 40 years. I oppose any manipulation, any regulation, elimination, or disturb of the Second Amendment of the Constitution of the United States. In 1959, a revolution with individuals, malicious individuals, masquerading as Democrats, revolutionaries, established a regime, a dictatorial regime in my nation called communism, socialism, Stalinism, Marxism, and whatever other name ism you want to put it. The reason was done to take away the guns from the people, the right of the people to wear guns. That is a God-given right. It's not given by anybody. It's not given by any group. It's the same thing as freedom, which is a God-given right, and no one, absolutely no one, has the authority to take it away. Disease to defend the Second Amendment and my God-given right of freedom will cease only with my death. I've been through it. I've been there. You people don't know what freedom is because you never lost it. You haven't been the tortures. You haven't been the assassinations. You haven't been mothers begging for the life of their son not to be killed because the only reason they want is to be free. And they kill the mothers and they kill the son. So my way to protest, the way to oppose, is because if we're tangling with the Second Amendment, we are open the same way that Cuba was open for communism, China, Poland, Hungary, Czechoslovakia, Venezuela, on and on. dictatorial regime that will destroy this country in the same way that destroyed those ones that I mentioned to you. Gun control do not protect anybody. Don't protect the citizens. Don't protect the people. The only reason for the gun control is the government to protect from them citizens. In that way, the government can vassalage, manipulate the people, and subjugate them. That's what happened in Cuba for 52 years, 54. I came here for freedom. At the time I came here was different. This country opened the arms for me. I couldn't get it in Cuba. And they opened the arm for me. I probably wouldn't get it here today. I hope that I get clear with you and you understand my point of view. I think that's conclude my testimony.
Mr. Martinez, thank you very much for coming forward. Are there any questions?
Yeah. My name is Henson Ong. Forgive me, English is not my first language. I am a legal immigrant, and I am an American by choice. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to express my opinion and give my testimony in opposition to the majority of the proposed bills which do nothing to deter future crimes. Gun control does not work. Your own history is replete with high school rifle teams, Boy Scout, marksmanship merit badges. You could buy rifles at the hardware stores. You could order them, mail order, delivered to your home. Your country was awash in readily available firearms and ammunition. And yet, in your past, you did not have mass school shootings. Other people have already expressed the question, what changed? It was not that the availability of guns suddenly exploded or increased. It actually was decreased. What was changed was societal decay. If gun control actually did work, Washington, D.C. and Chicago would be the safest cities in your nation, but it is not. They have the toughest gun laws and the highest crime and murder rates. Now, some people have asked and called the AR-15. They called the AR-15 a weapon of mass killing. Well, it turns out that there are a few government agencies which disagree with that characterization. The Department of Homeland Security has stated that a rifle chambered in .556 NATO with a 30-round magazine is suitable for personal defensive use. I have documentation on that. It is HSCEMS-1212-00011, solicitation for the Immigration and Customs Enforcement Agency. Now, who needs an AR-15 with 30-round mags? That question has also been brought up. And I would like to put forward that had the Koreans in the LA riots not had AR-15s and AK-47s with 30-round magazines and Ruger 30s, their businesses would have been burned to the ground like all of the other businesses in their neighborhoods. Theirs stood because they stood their ground. I would also put forward the conjecture that had the 10,000 students at Tiananmen Square not been unarmed, things may not have resulted in so many of them disappearing. In your own laws, United States versus Miller, 309, U.S. 174, 1939, it was made clear that the type of firearms protected by the Second Amendment were those specifically useful and common for military use in defense of the state. I would like to note that the state is not the government. The state is the people. In Lewis,
excuse me, Mr. Andre, if you would.
In Lewis versus United States, 1980, it is stated that the Second Amendment guarantees no right to keep and bear a firearm that does not have some reasonable relationship to the preservation and efficiency of a well-regulated militia. It has nothing to do with hunting. The militia, as per the debates in the convention, shows plainly enough that it is composed of all males physically capable of acting in concert for common defense. And further, that ordinarily, when called for service, these men were expected to appear, bearing arms supplied by themselves and of a kind in common use at the time. The AR-15 is the most common and popular rifle in America at this time.
Would you please wrap up?
I will wrap up. I would like to wrap up with a statement from Judge Andrew Kozinski in Silveria vs. Lockyer, 2003. My excellent colleagues have forgotten these bitter lessons of history. The prospect of tyranny may not grab the headlines the way vivid stories of gun crime usually do, but few saw the Third Reich coming until it was too late. The Second Amendment is a doomsday provision, one designed only for those exceptionally rare circumstances when all other rights have failed. A free people can only afford to make this mistake once.
Thank you.
Here we go. You're back. We are back here on the studio. Today's studio, I'm in my secret or semi-secret studio in the middle of Arizona, one of my studios. And I'm very disgusted sometimes by the people. Because the point is, all this is happening, all this tyranny is happening, not because of just some evil people out there trying to do this to us. Because we let them do it. You know, we are letting them do it, and not just today. It's been happening for many, many years, for a long time. And you know, this hour is hour about guns, and I would like to focus on guns right now. But let me tell you briefly, if you believe that torturing people that you never met, or torturing their relatives, just because they tell you that they are terrorists, but never been proven guilty, never even had a chance to have a trial. If you let them do that to them, tomorrow they will do it to you and to us, and they're already doing it. The point now that we're living in the Patriot Act, in the National Defense, under the National Defense Authorization Act, that our due process, any one of us Americans, not just the people with a turban, that they are somewhere in Pakistan, and you don't even know maybe where is Pakistan, just us now, we can be taken by our own government and completely and definitely detained and tortured and also killed. Please read the National Defense Authorization Act 2012-2013 or the Patriot Act. Without due process, without access to judge or jury, just because suspected to be terrorist. This happened because we let it happen before. Now, we cannot understand all this unless we understand the biggest fraud of the last century, in the American history at least. I'm talking about 9/11. 9/11, please, before you start to send me emails that, I don't support the troops or stuff like that, please, I give you a friendly advice. Wake up. Don't look like an idiot to the rest of history, because you're going to be judged like a moron if we're still going to have some sort of future here. Everybody knows, even my dog knows, that 9/11 was a freaking inside job, or at least was exactly not what we've been told. There is a joke, I say. 2 airplanes, 3 towers goes down. Did you ever heard about WT7, Building 7? No airplane ever hit that plane, that building, fell down on free fall. Please, go watch those 2 movies. I beg you. As a person, I'm here trying to care. I don't want to be right. I hope I'm wrong, I said many times. Watch Loose Change, free on YouTube, and watch, please, also In Plain Sight, okay? And this is just the beginning. There is so much more to watch. And when you will understand that 9/11 was just another false flag, like Fast and Furious. You know, oh, is Obama doing it? Oh, it's a false flag. We know Fast and Furious was done under the Obama administration, was a false flag. They were giving weapons to Mexican drug dealers to try to get against our rights of American people, our Second Amendment rights. So it's done. Obama was doing it. Operation Northwoods, go Google it. It was under the Kennedy administration. It's on record, declassified. There is so much. When we understand 9/11 wasn't exactly what they told us, all this fraud, of this illusion, of these unconstitutional wars, of Iraq, Afghanistan, and the trillions of dollars of tax dollars being stolen by the military-industrial complex. Think about it, how many trillions we've been robbed. And the Patriot Act, the National Security Defense, and the National Security the Authorization Act, all these pieces of garbage of legislation that pretty much all they did destroy our basic rights, all will disappear. But you need to wake up. We cannot fix this problem if you still believe in this fable. That's my point. And so our gun rights, they will go and disappear. Because if you, in good faith, believe that 9/11 was okay, it was real, and we gotta go grab these bastards out there so they don't come here, you are part of the problem. If you don't understand that, then you can justify also they can take your guns, they can declare martial law. Because if we don't wake up and we expose this fraud of false flag operations, they will use this over and over in Oklahoma City. We need to talk about that. I will have a guest next month about it as a researcher. But you don't need even to have a researcher. You can go and Google it, and you can find pieces of videos, pieces of news, local news, that during Oklahoma City they were stating there are more explosive. They would found more devices not exploded in the buildings. Anyway, back to business. Let's talk a little bit more about what's going on today. First of all, and by the way, did you hear about the first news, the first hour? Sandy Hook. That's another piece of information that you should start to put in your brain and look at this puzzle and look at how big this nightmare is. Okay? Now, when they say that, they will never confiscate the guns, and it's not happening in America, but we gotta register the guns just because the police must know, so it's gonna be everything safer. Guess what? In New York, people have to register their guns. Now they got their guns confiscated. Under the New York Safe Act, New York State can confiscate guns without any notice or appeal process, according to pretty much this article. And there is a report in Jefferson County that is sent to the county community services. It says, we review it, confirm that the license is indeed appropriate and that the case meets the criteria of the SAFE Act, said Director Jefferson County Community Services Roger Ambrose. Once they verify the report is sent to Albany. From there, state police found out that if the person identified as a gun permit. If he or she does, police present their findings to the local county court judge. Anyway, bottom line, a bunch of bureaucrats pretty much can decide if you must have a gun or not. Simple as that. The state decided that he or she should no longer possess a gun. It's happening everywhere. Everywhere. So it's all happening right now. And as I said, this is not just under Obama. Obama, of course, now is the main face. But remember, Bush, when there was the assault weapon ban, was facing the sunset, ready to expire. Bush, the conservative man, the Republican man, guess what? He said to Congress, bring it to me on my desk, and I will sign. I will sign another 10 years or more, or maybe indefinitely, of this assault weapon ban. So Bush offered himself to sign. So stop playing this stupid game of phony Republicans or phony Democrats. We're all going to be screwed so heavy, so deep, the blood is going to come out. Seriously. And even if you don't like guns, that's fine. You don't have to. But you don't understand, we already pretty much outpower. Look how many military hardware, equipment, and what really is going on with the militarization of the police. I mean, they are preparing for war. All these military vehicles make no sense, or maybe they make sense. And the sense is that pretty much they're preparing for war. Against who? Let's listen to this little video. This is a video that's very shocking. Washington State Sheriff Deputy from the Washington State, we just heard, Coupe Reynolds being there, proclaiming that the law enforcement officers need armored military vehicles because of constitutionalists with firearms. So now, if you are a constitutional person that will believe in the Constitution, and you have firearms, because I believe in the Second Amendment, I'm an American, I'm a danger, I'm treated as a danger, and now, it's coming out, these armored vehicles, these MRAP, that not even in Iraq, they gave to our soldiers there, they were given, beat-up jeeps probably at the beginning, they're giving it now, ready for us. Let's listen to this. I think it's very disturbing.
Well, the nice thing about this piece of equipment is that if somebody is directing fire toward a team that's trying to get in, they can pull right up to a front. Take enemy fire and still try to address a threat without being fear of getting shot.
So I'm thinking that is totally appropriate in Iraq, but what kind of a situation in the U.S. would you see that happening?
I mean, we've got a lot of constitutionalists and a lot of people that stockpile weapons, a lot of ammunition. I mean, we've got a lot of constitutionalists and a lot of people that stockpile weapons, a lot of ammunition. They have weapons here locally.
Okay, here we go. This is County, Spokane Valley in Washington State. This deputy is concerned about people who believe in the Constitution and have weapons. Really? And why you think people are going to use weapons? Because maybe they're going to be in danger. I don't know any really law-abiding citizen American that ever talk about going after the government unless, you really part of the government, whoever acts as the government is going to go after their basic rights. Yes, if you come and you try to take my property, take my home, or tax me for the water I drink out of my well, or take my kids, or take my guns, yeah, I will defend myself. But normally, American people, they are people that are peaceful. Look how much we have been taking. Look how much we've been taking just the last 50 years. The last 20 years. I think almost too peaceful. Sometimes I think we are a bunch of freaking cows. I really wonder, I'm all for peace, but I wonder our founding fathers, what I would have done by now. I really realize I'm not a man as them, because there is a point. There is a point as a dignity. Look what Obama is doing and what he's done. They lied to us. They told us that we could have kept our doctors. We could have kept our insurances. Our price, our fee, our monthly fee or whatever, premium would not go up. And on top, they're laughing at us. Gruber said that we are too stupid. American people are too stupid. That's why they need to lie to us. They can lie to us. And we are still here taking it and taxing us. And they tax us, the illegal aliens, and the amnesty. And we have to pay for them. And we are still taking it. And we are peaceful. Guess what, though? There is a line, though. Don't push it. Start to come to my property. Start to come to my, pretty much, possessions. And my freedom. I'll defend myself. And it's the godly thing to do, in my opinion. I have no regrets about it. I never advocate for violence, but advocate for self-defense. And the defense of the people to be free human beings and defend their dignity. So that's pretty much the story. Now, we're getting there, and I would like to play a little song. I'm in team. I feel pretty much in the mood. So you're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with Luca-zanna and Second Amendment Hour. Today we don't go too much in tactical, but we go in a little bit more in philosophy and also in events, what's happening. Meanwhile, a little song that I wrote, and I would like to remind you, if you want to support the show, not only please support the sponsors, but support also my music. I appreciate it. You can go to my new website, by the way. I have another website. It's called Zanna, Z-A-N-N-A, Art, A-R-T, zannaart.com, okay? And there is also a section for music. You can download any of my songs for 99 cents. And also there is a super special for Christmas that you can get all my 4 CDs. And there is, of course, Wake Up America CD, Don't Trade on Us CD, Love, Guns, and Freedom CD, and Luca Songs Volume 1, all of them 4 CDs, a bunch of songs, really, I think almost 80 tracks altogether. And guess what? For just $24.99 for the 4 CDs and free shipping. And also you can go, of course, to lovegunsfreedom.com and you can find the same special offer there in my music section. Meanwhile, little song for you dedicated to all the Americans who will fight and defend freedom. And when I say fight, it is not just physical fight, it's also the fight that we start every moment we wake up in the morning and we start to speak up in our communities. Don't go away, stay tuned.
Give me liberty or give me death. I'll fight to the end, to my last breath. Give me liberty or give me death. I'll stand against tyranny. My soul will never rest.
There is no longer any room for hope. If we wish to be free, there is no retreat but in submission and slavery. We have petitioned, we have remonstrated, we have supplicated, we have prostrated. Is life so dear or peace so sweet as to be purchased as the price of chains and slavery? Forbid it, Almighty God. I know not what course others may take. But as for me, give me liberty or give me death.
Give me liberty or give me death. I'll fight to the end, till my last breath. Give me liberty or give me death. I'll stand against tyranny. My soul will never rest. Give me liberty or give me death. I trade my life for freedom with no regret.
It is natural to man to indulge in the illusions of hope. We are apt to shut our eyes against a painful truth and listen to the song of that siren till she transforms us into beasts. For my part, whatever anguish of spirit it may cost, I am willing to know the whole truth, to know the worst, and provide for it. Give me liberty or give me death.
Give me liberty or give me death. I'll fight to the end, till my last breath. Give me liberty or give me death. I'll stand against tyranny. My soul will never rest. Give me liberty or give me death. I trade my life for freedom with no regrets.
Give me liberty or give me death.
He's a songwriter, a poet, a rifleman.
I'm not afraid.
And a constitutional activist.
I'm not afraid.
Italian by birth.
I'm not afraid.
American by choice. Gianluca Zanna.
I'm not afraid.
And his new CD, Love, Guns, and Freedom. 16 powerful songs on one CD from the heart of a patriot. For download or to order the CD, go to www.lovegunsfreedom.com. That's www.lovegunsfreedom.com. Lyrics for your mind, music for your heart. Gianluca Zanna's new CD, Love, Guns, and Freedom.
You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with Luca Zanna on K-Talks 1340 AM and on Guerrilla Media Network. I also, of course, on www.lovegunsfreedom.com. I will play for you now another very disturbing piece of information I've been researching. I told you that I believe that Obama, it is not just some sort of a loser or some sort of a lazy or just a plain leftist. It is part of a biggest plan. We are under a coup. A coup did not just start with Obama. Obama was just the closer, maybe one of the closers. They are pretty much, right now, according to my facts and the evidence I'm gathering together, they are pretty much trying to completely conquer America, destroying it first, economically, morally, politically, and then completely and come and take over. And this is not going to be just something done with, legislations to try to completely make us slaves like they're already doing, but it's going to be something bigger. I believe really that Obama is conspiring with the communist forces overseas, like the Russians and also like the Chinese. Like exactly, we know very well that little video that I play a few times about the Bill Ayers infiltrator, FBI informant, pretty much says that when these politicians or these people that they infiltrated the system, they will be on top of the system, they will ask for help to communist forces around the world to completely eliminate people that will believe in America. They will create a new world order after they will destroy all of us. And listen to this information. I think it's something we should start to put in our brain and put together with everything else we know.
According to a recently released top-secret document by NSA whistleblower Edward Snowden, the NSA intercepted phone calls and emails of representatives of a staggering 197 countries during a December 2009 United Nations conference in Copenhagen, Denmark. At the conference, dubbed the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, hundreds of trillions of dollars were at stake. The worldwide treaty being negotiated ended up mandating participating countries' CO2 emission limits that affected everything from energy production to the travel habits of hundreds of millions of people worldwide. The NSA was in effect engaged in economic espionage, something not unique as revealed in another Edward Snowden document showing the NSA, along with their British counterpart GCHQ, hacked into the Belgian telecom behemoth Belgacom to extract corporate secrets. Along with intercepting the phone calls and emails of officials at the 2009 UN conference, the document released by Snowden indicates that the NSA had also bugged the closed-door meetings of the various countries. One interesting fact about the United Nations conference, according to the Huffington Post, who were given a copy of the original top-secret NSA document, is that the participants of the conference found it odd that the American and Chinese officials seemed to know beforehand what the other 195 countries had been discussing behind closed doors. We know that the NSA was feeding information to American officials, but the question becomes, how exactly did the Chinese also intercept the phone calls, emails, and audio from the bugged offices? A possible explanation, as shocking as it sounds, is that the NSA was in fact sharing information with the Chinese. This possibility is not as surprising as it sounds. The NSA is now openly operating outside of the U.S. Constitution, admitting to illegally spying on the phone calls and emails of virtually every single American in direct violation of the Fourth Amendment, all with the blessing of our President Barack Hussein Obama. The NSA has in effect become a rogue shadow government of the United States, and there is every possibility that this shadow government is in fact connected or possibly even run by the Chinese government. This would explain some of Obama's strange actions in regards to China. Obama has been on a spending spree since day one of his presidency, putting the nation deeper and deeper in debt. When Obama ascended the presidency, the national debt stood at $10 trillion. It is now over $17 trillion, and with Obama's call for further stimulus spending and an expanded welfare state, it is projected to be $20 trillion by 2016. $20 trillion is in fact a number that many economists project will cause the collapse of the U.S. economy. Who will benefit when the U.S. economy collapses and we default on trillions of dollars in debt? The major stakeholder of our debt, the Chinese, who will legally be able to confiscate large portions of the United States in lieu of payment. Another piece of the puzzle was the uncovering of a massive spying scandal at 2 NASA facilities last year, which more than likely is just the tip of the iceberg. Top secret information that included Tomahawk missile guidance systems and military-grade satellites were stolen by Chinese national employees working at the Ames Research Center near San Francisco, California, and Langley Research Center in Hampton, Virginia. The FBI opened an investigation and found NASA secrets had in fact been stolen and turned over the information to Eric Holder's Department of Justice, who refused to prosecute the spies. According to Representative Frank R. Wolf, White House officials more than likely intervened in the investigation to shut it down. And then there is the most obvious evidence that the Obama administration is in bed with the Chinese. Video has surfaced of actual Chinese troops training at Fort Shafter, Honolulu, Hawaii in 2013. The Obama administration has claimed that the Chinese were taking part in a drill dubbed GridX-2, simulating the response to an EMP attack, electromagnetic pulse, that took out the U.S. electrical grid. But if this in fact is true, it makes the revelation even worse. Classified documents released in 2011 show that the Chinese were in fact working on an EMP bomb, so that if the Chinese were given classified information about how the U.S. was preparing to survive an EMP attack, this amounts to treason. Is the NSA part of a shadow government with Obama at the helm, ready to stage a communist coup d'etat when the U.S. economy collapses in 2016? Conspiracy theory? Perhaps. Perhaps not.
Okay, and you got the idea what's going on here, and I'm sorry. I'm sorry that may disturb your Sunday, all this information. I wish we could talk about apple pie, pasta, wine, and we will. Final hour, I will talk about things like that too, but my gut, and more important, my brain, the information that they start to combine together, it really brings me to a disturbing point. I will leave you right now with a song I wrote a few years ago. I had a dream. It was exactly 9/11. First few hours in the morning, around 4 o'clock, I had a dream, and I dreamt all these visions, all these pictures that I painted in my song, Red Wave. Listen to the lyrics. I never forgot these images, and unfortunately, I believe they're coming real.
Dream from everywhere. Today we are the only hope for our freedom. Brothers and sisters, get your rifles and be ready.
You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with Luca-zanna on Guerrilla Media Network.
Have you ever met someone on an online dating site and thought, wow, this guy is perfect for me, or she is simply amazing, only to find out they were hiding a deep, dark secret? They plan to vote for Hillary. FreedomLovers.us was created for singles who want to exchange ideas and a love for freedom. People who are looking for solutions to create and defend freedom in the real world, and at the same time, getting that once-in-a-lifetime chance to find their true soulmate. Whether you are interested in meeting your soulmate, making new friends, networking, or hanging out with that like-minded liberty lover, visit freedomlovers.us. It's the first free dating site and community. So patriots, don't waste your time with other dating sites. freedomlovers.us is the place where like-minded singles
Here we go,
really
final
meet.
hour with Love, Guns, and Freedom. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with Luca-zanna on K-Talks 1340 AM and on Guerrilla Media Network. This is normally the hour that we talk about love, and we try for a moment to take a break from all this very important but sometimes overwhelming news. But it's still what I consider love is also when a human being, in this case an American, he donates, he shares his or her time for the common cause of freedom and for the future of our next generation when it comes down to freedom and dignity as human beings and as Americans. So that's why I also put in this hour not only recipes, music, and dating stuff like normally we do, but also when I find people, Americans like my friend Ken from Michigan, that I want to remind our listeners, I met at the Bundy's Ranch, and it was one of the most beautiful opportunities of my life to find like-minded people like Ken. Ken, are you there?
Yes, I'm here, Luca. How you doing today?
Very good. I mean, we had some pretty disturbing, information to share, but I say, we cannot hide our head from the truth because no matter what, you can avoid to know the truth, but you will never be able to avoid the consequences of the facts because things are going to happen no matter you want to look at them or not. So we talk about Sandy Hook the first hour, all this incredible information with this man that is an activist in looking for the truth. And there is so much that people must investigate. And then we talk about the second hour regarding the gun rights, especially in Washington State, these pieces of legislation that if you have a gun and you go hunting with your rifle and you just loan the rifle to somebody else while you're hunting, you can become a criminal. I mean, you're a felon right there. And the globalist behind to this complete attempt, and also they're realizing it pretty good to disarm the American people. So we have very serious information. Now I would like to find some solutions with you, because for me, you are the man represent the ideal when it comes to average man to try to change things for the better. So, Ken, please, first of all, give us some update. We've been talking with you about smart meters, what people can do, first of all, to learn about the dangers of the smart meters, and also what can we do to stop this in our communities. Go ahead, Ken. You got the floor.
Okay, Luca, all your listeners should know that things are getting bad. You know, we got the fluoride in the water, we got the chemtrails in the air, and now they're trying to put smart meters on our home. And let me say, Luca, I went to this guy that made and I'm going to tell everybody they need to see this. It's called Take Back Your Power. And somebody told me you could see it on YouTube, you could find it. But if not, you need to buy this DVD. It's made by Josh DeSol, DELSOL. Now, they were into theater, not a regular theater. This was a huge one the other day, and I got invited through email, so I went over there because I didn't know what it was going to be about. They were showing the movie, and over 200-something people showed up there.
Wow.
And also when he came in, Josh DeSol, he was there, the guy that made the movie, and he brought a guy from Canada, which runs dual citizenship, was telling us about common law, how we can possibly beat this. So there was 30 of us filled out paperwork, and we sent them into all the DTE and all of the officials, the ones that's trying to push this on us.
Mm-hmm.
What most people don't realize on the smart meters, this is definitely a spy grid that they're putting on your house. So everybody better first thing get that into your head that this is nothing about. It makes it easy because they don't have to send a guy out to read your meter. It's going to save you money. It's going to do this. It's going to do that. This bottom line, this is a spy grid on your house.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if I told you last week we went to Lansing.
Mm-hmm.
I went up and testified in front of all of them, and this was going on record. So I went up there and I told them, I said, this is not just about smart meters. There's 200 people that we took with us. I said, this is about Agenda 21, and this is also about mind control. Google up MK Ultra. I am a target individual. And this representative, he got mad because what I said.
Really?
Yeah, I don't care. I'm going to speak my word as long as I'm living, because this is very, very dangerous for our state representatives to be trying to hide this, what these spy meters are doing. So everybody should get active on this, even if you're in Arizona, if you're in California. I don't care what state you're in. You need to get active and start speaking up about these smart meters they're trying to put on our house.
Exactly. And by the way, in Arizona, just this week, exactly was Friday the 12th, there was a big, some sort of a public hearing about the smart meters. It was just one day, and now the state of Arizona, pretty much the commissioners for the department that take care of the energy, they will decide if we can have it as optional or mandatory. It is time to really people understand that this is not a game, and the smart meter is not just some sort of, civil right issue that they're going to spy how many times you use your electricity or what type of appliance you're using. That's pretty much would be pretty bad right there to know everything I'm doing in my own household. But the scary thing, you need to start to look at the damages also for your health, because these microwaves or frequencies, when you pretty much you surround it, think about every house as like a little bit of a broadcasting station, is very damaging for your health. There is something that they don't want to tell you, but you have the duty to research. And also, I really believe there is more than just getting sick. It's been proven that they can alter with frequencies the mood and also the behavior of humans and animals, okay? So when you start to have something that I know many people don't want to face it's something almost too scary to believe this is happening, especially in America, but as I said, you can ignore reality, but will never be ignore the consequences of reality. The smart meters are one of the final pieces of the puzzle of the New World Order to have a complete control grid of humanity. It is not just happening in America. It's already happening all over the world. And they can pretty much shut down every aspect also of your life. Don't forget, in California, a couple of years ago, they were proposing, I think they're going through with that Sacramento, the capital of California, can pretty much tell you how much energy you can use in your home. Let's say you're using too much air conditioning or too much heating. They can stop the air conditioning whenever they want, because you are a slave, and after all, and you're just there as a slave, and they tell you what you can do. So this is very serious. Ken, thank you very much. And please say one more time the name of this DVD that, by the way, I appreciate it. You gave it to me. It's very amazing. Give it the name of the DVD to explain and expose.
It's called Take Back Your Power. And I think somebody told me you could see it on YouTube, but it's by Josh DeSol, DELSOL.
Yes.
So everybody needs to get this, because this is very dangerous. We had doctors and the regular people even testifying when we went to Lansing One woman was broke all out with hives. One woman told the committee that she had to sleep out in her motorhome behind her house. And, I mean, there was all kinds of stuff. One woman went out in her garage and set up a bed because that was the furthest away from her meter. I mean, this was terrible. But what they don't tell you, they do cause cancer, Luca. There's too many frequencies. It's called dirty electricity.
Yes.
So people need to get on the ball and start, find out about this on their own. Don't believe me. Go do your own research.
Exactly. And this is very important. That's why I put this information in the section normally I would dedicate to love, because it is about love, loving our fellow humans. And this is something important. Sometimes, if you know that something's happening and you see that your fellow humans in your tribe, in your town, in your community, wherever you are, and they're in danger, you try to warn them. You try to raise the alarm. But it's sad to see many times that we are our own worst enemies. I really understand that the New World Order or these globalists, they understand how humanity works. Because unfortunately, people like you or me, Ken, instead then when we try to warn people and we bring facts to them, instead of people analyzing the facts and maybe getting mad at facts, they sometimes get mad at the messengers, because almost we destroy their false reality where they're pretty much in a lazy way they're situated, You tell them facts, something that pretty much disturb their life, and instead of facing the facts, they try to get mad at you. Because the reality is, dear Ken, once you bring people in front of reality, then they have two options. Or just ignore it and be afraid, and they're pretty bad for them because they don't want to be cowards, or then they must take action. And not everybody has the strength and the desire to be active into doing something. That's the bottom line. Ken, what do you think about these now Republicans, like, for example, John Bonner, I call him, that, of course, he promised that he was going to stop funding Obamacare. He was going to stop also funding the amnesty. By the way, this amnesty that Mr. O'Bastard passed, it was even an amnesty passed by Congress, as you well know, was pretty much the declaration of the new American empire. Now, the president, or whoever is acting as a president, is a king. And that's the scary thing. Now I see Republicans, I already knew about that, pretty much confirming the absolute powers of the president. Because Bonner and all his Republican cronies up there, they didn't do anything. The last 2 days they had a chance. The last few days they had a chance to defund or at least delay this $1.1 trillion spending bill. And in this bill they also funded this devastating dagger in the heart of American Republic with this amnesty that, by the way, is going to completely compromise our political system, because now we're going to have millions of illegal aliens completely brainwashed. You don't even need to have a mind control. These people are already brainwashed from the other government they will come from, and they will come here like docile dogs, voting for pretty much who gives to them most of the benefits, and they will do everything they can at the polls to deprive us and to take our rights away. They will use pretty much an army of drones or zombies at the polls. And at the same time, we have this Obamacare that could have been defunded. No, instead, Bonner, he goes playing golf with that bastard, and that's now what they're doing. So, what is your opinion about all this? What's going to happen? Because Washington is gone.
Well, yeah, absolutely. But my opinion on that is that the people, between a Democrat and Republican, Luca, there is no difference. But the people, they wasn't voting for the Republicans as far as I'm concerned. They were voting against Obama's politics. Mm-hmm. And the Republicans are not smart enough to see that. They gave them both houses. And what they do, they turn around and stab every one of us in the back. Because they think they get up there and they got all the power, and they don't care what we think. They don't care what we know. As long as they can put more taxes on us, take away more of our money, take away more of our rights. And then I was reading an article about 21st Century Wire. While you slept, Congress just gives the NSA even more spying power. I mean, every time we wake up out of our slumber or off the couch and we go to get on the computer, we read where they took more of our rights away. Every day, it's the same thing. Slowly, but now they're moving much faster.
Exactly.
But there is no difference between a Democrat and Republican. and people can get mad at me if they want to, but there is no difference in them.
I agree.
They're all working for the New World Order.
Exactly. And this is the point, they're working. But at the same time, we must find a way to, what really disturbs me sometimes, we try to inform our fellow Americans about this. And of course, we try to still do everything we can to get this through the political process. But when people still completely, I believe that there is a mind control already in action at the mass scale, because people can be so stupid. There is something that somehow, for example, today I was talking to some of my Facebook friends that I posted an article about these declassified documents by the CIA of torture. And I said, who is okay with this? I mean, how can you be okay torturing somebody? First of all, we know that torture, it is not even productive in a way that you can get any type of information out of somebody. I can make you say things that you never done. Just because think about the Inquisition during the Pope. They were torturing people, admitted that they were witches. And then after the torture for probably a few hours or a few days, you're going to say everything they want you to say. So right there, it's no valid point. And more important, when people still don't want to see the truth, that first of all, you being frauded, we being frauded with 9/11 was a false flag. And when people still don't want to see that, and on that premise of a lie, they're building all this castle of tyranny and criminal acts. I mean, people, they're still entrapped in this. We're still at this level. I mean, a lot of people are waking up, but unfortunately, I still see many people not getting it. And that's really depresses me. I don't know about you.
You know what, Luca? And then they say, well, the CIA chief comes out. This is going to cost us American lives overseas, because if this comes out, it's going to embarrass the United States from our allies. You know what, Luca? If you're doing something against your next door neighbor or your friend or anybody else that's going to be embarrassing, I would recommend that you don't do that to start with.
Exactly.
So if you did something so evil it's going to embarrass you, then let's get it out there and find out.
Exactly.
And we need more transparency in our government. We're not getting it.
Exactly. Somebody's guilty is guilty. Okay? I don't care. It's our government. First of all, this is not my government. This is the government of the international bankers. We know that. Okay?
Right.
But the point is, I don't care. If the government is doing something criminal and illegal, must be exposed. I cannot do it in my name or in your name anymore. Because if we are silent, we will be guilty, part of this crime. That's why I say it's our job to bring the facts and the truth. And if somebody's doing something wrong, we must expose them and remove them. Because these are criminals. These are not people that are governing. These are criminals with a suit and with a nice haircut. They're still criminals. Probably they're worse than people that normally rob in banks. At least you know what you get with bank robbers. Okay?
Right. You know what? Look, let me say one more thing, because Americans have been told to spy. We've been told to judge somebody else. And at the same time, like target individuals, we run into that a lot. The American people are willing to actually torture American citizens because they've been told that these people did something wrong, they've been lied to, but yet they don't tell them at the same time that this technology is being used on them. Their mind is being played with too. It's just not on the same level, so they don't even recognize it. Until we get over judging other Americans, if they're not harming you, then don't harm them.
Exactly.
That's where I think everybody's got to look at it.
There is a movie I watched a couple of nights ago. It's called Divergent. Did you ever watch that movie, Ken?
The what?
Divergent. It's called Divergent. No. Please, I invite everybody to go watching it. It's pretty prophetic, pretty scary about when it comes down to mind control, comes down to the society, the way it's going to global government, and how pretty much what is the plan for us humans is pretty much the planning for us. So I really invite this, because I tell you, these movies that they do in Hollywood, they produce in Hollywood, sometimes they're just movies. Most of the times, unfortunately, they give us warnings, and they give us, more important, in the ethic way, the globalists, they tell us things they're going to do to us before happen. That's the way. And it's a very sad and very gray future, or dark future, if we don't do something right now. I would like to also remind to the listeners that Ken also, he goes pretty often on Pete Santilli show, and we all broadcast also from the same network with the Guerrilla Media Network, and Ken has a lot of good information about also Pete and what's going on with Pete and some solutions. You were talking to me about solutions just a few minutes ago. Please tell me what you think about the new solution that you and Pete pretty much come out with.
Well, today he brought on a guy, and I forget his name even. I'm not good at names, Luca, but he was talking about how, and everybody should go and listen to this today, the Pete Santilli show Saturday today.
Mm-hmm.
This guy was talking about how we can go in front of our city councils and other people, and you put them on notice by the speech you give them, and you give them the evidence that what they're doing. The 14th Amendment was never ratified, and he said now you put them on notice, and also you put them on notice that if they don't change, especially on Agenda 21 in Hickley,
yeah,
that you're going to go after their
Hello,
you're going to go after their bond.
Yes.
And now when you start talking about going after their money, now you're going to get their attention.
Yes.
But if that's the way we got to do it, then I think it's a great idea. But everybody should go in there and listen to that. And maybe you want to do it to your city council, because this guy said he will give you the speech. They will work with you how to deliver the speech. They'll give you the evidence to prove what you're saying. So I think it was a very good segment on Pete Santilli.
Very good. I'll find out also. I'll try to find out the source of the website so we can share that. I think it's a very important thing right now. No more just be spectators, but not only even just be defensive, but be on the offensive. Because if you find out some local politicians, city council, county commissioners, doesn't matter, did they sell you out on international agendas like this Agenda 21, we have the duty to sue these bastards, and not just sue the city or the county, but sue them individually. And you know what?
Right.
It's millions of us, and it's few hundreds of these roaches. And even if we just filed the lawsuit, and they need to start to defend against our lawsuit, we can put them out of business just suing them without even starting the lawsuit, okay? And of course, we are not yet to... Go ahead.
And you know what, Luca, they say, like on the smart meters, they send you out a notice.
Mm-hmm.
But the notice lies to you. I'm getting a little feedback. The notice says that we're putting a new meter on your home, and it does this and it does that, and everything's good, it saves you money and all this. And as long as you don't protest it, then you've entered into a contract with them saying that's okay. By you staying silent, you're saying it's okay, and that's how they're getting by with it. In other words, you're not protesting. You say, no, if you protest it, they're still going to do it, but you didn't sign into their contract.
Very good. And Ken, let me just share with the listeners, there is something we all can do, Sometimes people get overwhelmed and say, oh my God, what do I do? You have a phone. Anybody has a phone. It's time to use it. Forget about the emails. Emails, they're so pretty much soft and quiet. They just deleted them. We need to start to use our First Amendment to the full force, okay? And for example, they just, I was talking before about it. The Republicans, they pretty much sold us out one more time regarding the spending bill, 1.1 trillion and another trillion, and more important, confirming Obama's supreme powers with his executive and constitutional order about immigration and amnesty and Obamacare. It's time to scream. You can still scream. You don't need to say bad things like threatening things or violent things, but you can start to raise your voice. It's our right. We pay for the phone lines. We pay for these chairs. We pay for this assistant, this staff assistant to these politicians, to these traders. So it's time to do it. For example, I was able to call the other day, and my representative in Congress, Paul Gosar, that fortunately, even I'm not a Republican anymore, but I want to hear always standing for the facts and the truth according to my beliefs. I had to commend him and to thank him, first of all. He did not vote to support Obama on funding this illegal aliens amnesty. One of the few Republicans that pretty much did not follow the treasonous leadership from Mr. Bonnet, the Speaker of the House. And also, for example, Paul Gosar did not vote in favor of funding Obamacare. That's very important. And also, another disturbing piece of legislation, excuse me, that pretty much was passed just a few days ago, pretty much now the House, Congress, gave unlimited powers to the police, to law enforcement, not just the CIA and FBI, but law enforcement, to spy on any American citizen, anybody. And Paul Gosar voted against. So it's time to support the good people, even when they do something that is a lost battle for the moment, but you still show them that we support their act. And at the same time, jump on the phone and start to tell them off to all these bastards like Bonner or McCain or any other neocon there that is selling us out to the globalists. What do you think about that?
Absolutely, but you got to be careful, Luca, because sometimes now some of the congressmen they'll tell their buddies up there, I got to vote against this because I'm going to be running in 6 months, and if I vote for this, then I ain't going to win. So you got to be careful and look and see if they benefited by not voting for it, because I don't think any of them's got us in their heart. I'll tell you that. So I'm very shy about any congressman or senator doing anything for us.
Oh, I agree.
And when he does do something right, I look to see why he done it right.
I agree. But at the same time, I always want to be open to judge people by facts before we go. There is always the big picture. I agree with you. We got to look at everything. But sometimes, we got to reward things for the right way.
Right.
And please tell me a little bit more about what's going on right now with the TI movement. I know that there's been other shooting out there. We don't know exactly why or what's happening, but there is more and more of this activity, unfortunately, happening.
Yeah, it seems to me right now, Luca, they're stepping it up, because this morning I got up and I got 3 calls from, because I'm not a leader, but I'm one that I'm out there and I'm dealing with a lot of them. They're trying to put them in the mental ward, so I go in front of a judge. I go to their lawyers and I tell them, and then some of them they give them guardians because they're not capable of handling their own money. And these people, some of them are registered nurses and everything. So I go up and speak up for them. So far, I've been able to keep 3 of them from them being able to put them in a mental ward and shooting them up when there's absolutely nothing wrong with them.
Okay.
So they're stepping it up because I think they know this is fixing to get exposed on them.
Yes.
And there's a lot of just American citizens that should be getting very nervous. And to be honest with you, look, and I'm not knocking the churches. I don't want anybody to think out.
Yeah.
But a lot of this targeting comes out of the churches because the pastor belongs to the clergy response team.
Mm-hmm.
He tells his flock or whoever you want to call them that they need to do this. And yet Americans will do something against you, Luca, and they don't even know you just because they get told.
Exactly.
To me, I'm the type that I want to find out. If they tell me Luca did something bad, I want a little more proof than you just told me that he did it.
Exactly. And it's funny that you just mentioned this clergy response team, because I was going to talk right now. You must have read my mind, I guess. That pretty much, there is a plan out there, and it's not just something happening right now with Obama. There was before, even started with Bush, with the Homeland Security, the clergy response team. Pretty much they are, according to the official documents being released by some very brave pastor, 28,000 pastors around America. They were recruited by FEMA and the Department of Homeland Security to be part of this team of pastors that pretty much they're part of their training and part of their duty is to keep calm during martial law when people get relocated to camps, to FEMA camps, to pretty much remind to the sheep that government, it is a godly, pretty much mission to rule you. Romans 13. That's the way trying to get you. Let every soul be subject unto the higher powers, for there is no power but of God, the powers that they are ordained of God. 13:1 Romans. So the point is that they try to brainwash the American people to comply with any government's rules, because they think government, after all, it is obeying to government, is obeying to God. I would like to remind to the people that I'm not a Bible person. I believe in Christ, but I'm not a preacher. I'm not a pastor. It is my own personal opinion and my personal belief. I'm not here to preach. But I remind you one thing, my dear friends, that you believe that Romans 13 must be followed by the letter. all governments are not established by God. I mean, the government of Stalin, Hitler, Pol Pot, are they ordained by God? What would have done during the American Revolution? Would they just submitted to George, King George? I mean, that's the point. They're using this situation to try to pretty much control us more and more. So it's time to understand this is also part of another mind control, because when you use pastors to try to brainwash you, to keep you as a slave, I consider that mind control, in my opinion. What do you think about that?
Oh, absolutely, Luca. What gets me, that pastor that's getting you to do that, they have no more respect for him than when Hitler came into power. And everybody knows, I mean, I guess they know, that he didn't trust the ones that put him in power, and they called it the Night of the Long Knives.
Mm-hmm.
He went out and killed all of them that was in power. And one guy was his best friend, been his best friend for like 30 years, and he actually had the guy killed. So these pastors that's doing that, they better go back and read their history. Forget the Bible, Romans 13.
Yeah.
They better go back and read the history, because once they get all the people in the FEMA camps under their control, then they're the next one.
Yes.
So, I mean, what's wrong with these people they can't think?
Exactly. Listen, I want to say hi and thank you very much for the updates. I thank you for your activism. And by the way, before you go, I would like also to remind to the listeners that Ken, it also is a user. I mean, you use Protandem, this product that I've been using. I used to. It's a unique product to keep your system slowing down the aging and the oxidative stress by 45%. It's amazing. And it's another way to help us out in this battle, because we are here. I know, Ken, you put a lot of your money out there, your time. And you're sharing this product called Protandem that I invite everybody to go to your website, Ken. And Ken, why don't you give your website, please, one more time?
It's Protandem, Protandem, Ken, KEN.com.
Perfect.
And Luke, I'm 70 years old, and that's one supplement that I won't be without. So that's how great I think it is.
You know, it's really helping me out a lot. I must tell you, we're living a very, tough times economically. Everything looks gray. Looks like almost another America, completely like during the Middle Ages, dark. Sometimes it's getting very almost depressive, I mean, depression is a human condition that you're alive. We are humans, okay? We are not robots. So, and it's okay if you can live with a little bit of the downtime. Means that you're alive, but you need to be always in control. You must always be able to keep it under control, to keep it healthy. Sometimes it's tough. I tell you, Protandem really helped me out a lot the last few months since I started taking it. Even in tough times that normally I would have been pretty much more down, I have always found the energy and a new level of mindset that honestly, I don't know. I think Protandem has a lot to do. It is not just physical. It's helping me out a lot also with my mindset. I don't know about you. Did you ever felt that type of effects on your mood?
Oh, I think it's even better for the mind than it is the body, because I mean, I still have trouble remembering a lot of things, but now it seems like that's even getting better where I remember names and stuff. And, at 70 years old, I mean, it's a very good product, I'll tell you that.
So please, people, if you want to help, at least give it a shot. 30 days. You try one bottle for 30 days. It's less than the price of one coffee a day. And more important to see the testimonials, because, the research behind is amazing. There are $40 million invested by the LifeVantage company on this product. And also there are 7 patents that pretty much make this product unique. And it's proven by science. And more important, look at the testimonials that I also found out myself as regular people that I know, not people that I went to get from the TV. These are real people that I personally know, like Ken. So you can help us out. You can help us out to finance this operation, to also for people like Ken to go out, get the money for the gas, go to a meeting. Ken has been burning hundreds, I say thousands of DVDs and audio CDs to give them around for free, with information that we know is very important to us, like these smart meters, so other things like we all know that they are very important. And the best thing you can do, you can help Ken supporting this operation, go to protandemcan.com, order a bottle. It's there online. You can order a bottle of Protandem and try it out. And this is something, probably the best investment you can do for your health, especially now that we've been cut off by Obamacare. Many of us, like myself, we are pretty much now, I am without insurance, Ken, by the way. In 2 weeks, I will be like an illegal alien. But differently from illegal aliens, they can get insurance. I had to pay an extra $4,000 a year to get insurance. Can you believe that?
Oh, I believe it because it was meant to bankrupt this country.
Yeah,
so.
And I'm really worried about the next year because now think about if everybody, working person like me and many other of us Americans, we have to pay an extra $3,000-4,000 at least for person, not for family, for person, to keep our existing health plan. All this money, they're going to be pretty much being taken off the economy. I mean, if every one of us has no more this extra few $1,000s to put for regular products, enjoying things or buying things that are also necessary, the economy is going to be completely dry out. And I already can feel it. This is the worst Christmas, I've ever seen around. At least when it comes down to people spending their money, But all I can say, we got to do what we have to do. And till there is life, there is hope. That's pretty much my thing. Speaking about hope and speaking about something a little more light, I would like to share with you, Ken, a little recipe, something that in these tough times, people sometimes need to eat and wants to eat something fast, quick, economical, but healthy. Okay? This is my little recipe. I just came out. It's called... honestly, I don't have a name yet. It's like almost a mix between peas, beans, and some other stuff. Let me tell you this recipe, then we will give it a name, okay? The other day I was working on some music and I was kind of hungry and I have to put something together. I didn't want just to open a can of beans and put it on the pot and just fry it. I wanted something a little more fancy. So I got 1 can of beans, organic beans, and 1 can of peas. And I drain them. And then I get 1 organic onion. I chop the onion. I put it on the pan with some oil, extra virgin olive oil, and I stir fry the onion. When the onion was pretty much around brown, gold, let's say, not brown, but gold, after a couple minutes, I add the beans and the peas. And I let pretty much cooked for about 5 minutes, enough to melt the flavors. At that point, what I did, I added 1 avocado inside the peas and the beans, and I let it melt it, and then I add a little bit of turkey, sliced turkey, okay, and let it cook together. Final touch, little bit of sour cream. Mix all together. It almost looks like some sort of, French cuisine plate, kind of fancy. But the point is, it was delicious, little pinch of salt and pepper, and it was healthy, at least for me, was great. And you know what? With 2 cans of, 1 can of bean, 1 can of peas, 1 onion, a little bit of decoration, and a little bit of avocado, I had a very great meal that I could have fed 2 people, but I ate it by myself. Anyway, and in this time, sometimes when your life is really tough and times is, you don't have much time, you don't need to go eat out. That's pretty much, try it out. It's very unique. And let's give it a name. I still don't know. Probably would be like the survivalist beans mess, or the beans recipe, or something like that. I think something to do with survivalist. But I like the little extra touch with the sour cream and the avocado. Ken, what is your favorite meal?
Oh, I like Mexican food myself.
Mexican food.
I know it's not the healthiest, but I almost quit eating out, Luca, on kind of all the GMO food.
That's the point.
Now I have my own garden. I make my own salsa, my own applesauce.
Okay.
And I know all we're eating is these. I call them Frankenstein foods.
You're right.
That they're trying to force down us anymore.
You're right, and I agree with you, because, itself, the Mexican food, it is not bad food. If you think about it, it's a poor cuisine. The problem now, what do you eat? When you got this tortilla, is the corn they use for this tortilla, you think is real corn? No, probably it's GMO corn. And these vegetables, where are they from? Probably sometimes they come from Mexico. And I'm sorry, it's been proven. Most of the cases of hepatitis is because they are uncooked vegetable coming from Mexico. That's according to the data that we have. And like the tomatoes, because they probably give water, they feed these plants with the sewer water, okay? So it's very sad, because I like Mexican cuisine myself, but I don't know any real restaurant out there that they can guarantee me they can give me GMO-free food and, more important, clean stuff. So I like to make my own Mexican, if I can, at home. And that's another way also we can start to learn how to live better. Grow your own food if you can. Doesn't take much, even to make your own bread, like we did a few times ago. Now, Ken, I want to let you go. I want to thank you again. I will play right now a couple of phone calls that I had a chance to personally make. One was with Paul Gozer assistant, regarding the latest legislation that about the budget, and also one to Speaker of the House, John Bonner. And I tried to call his office. I was on hold for about 30 minutes. I just give you the short version. And unfortunately, I wasn't able to talk, but I left a message and people can listen. So, Ken, thank you very much, my friend. Keep me posted, and let's talk to you next Sunday.
Congressman Gosar's office, how can I help you?
Hi, good morning. My name is Luca-Zanna. I'm calling from Mojave County, Arizona, Golden Valley exactly. And I'm a constituent of Congressman Gozer. And I have a couple questions, if you can help me out, please.
Okay.
First of all, we know very well what happened yesterday with the Republican leadership regarding funding this government that included also Obamacare, the funding of Obamacare, and supported this border aid for millions of illegal aliens, according to the executive order of Mr. Obama. And pretty disturbing, because we were hoping that the Republican leadership would, now that they had the numbers, at least start to stop the funding of Obamacare, and especially this executive order regarding the immigration of Mr. Obama. And my question specifically is, what Congressman Gozer, how did Congressman Gozer vote it?
He voted against the bill.
Against the bill?
Yes, against it. He felt that there was a better way to fund the government and to prohibit funding for the president's executive actions, especially in regard to amnesty and immigration. So he voted against the funding bill.
Okay.
So he's disappointed that they took that approach and felt like it could have been done differently.
Very good. Very good. Very good.
So,
you know, I don't care if it was a minority or not. At least I'm pleased that he voted for the right thing, because this is getting out of control. It is out of control. So,
yeah.
Regardless, sometimes we agree or not agree with Congressman, but on this one, I applaud him, and I'm very grateful about that. So that's pretty much, you can let them know that please keep voting the right way, not how that leadership, supposed to be leadership of Mr. Bonner, that is a disgrace, really is a sold out. And if you can tell him something, he should stop going playing golf with Obama and minding pretty much more the things of the people, because we've been sold out at the top levels of the Republican Party, and this is my opinion, of course, and I really commend Congressman Gozer on this one to be at least to do the right thing.
Thank you. I'm very glad that you take the time to call in today, and I'll be sure to pass that to Congressman Gozer for you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Congressman Gosar's office, this is Will. How may I help you?
Hi, Leo. This is Luca-Zanna. I called you a few seconds ago regarding Congressman Gozer. I have forgot one other thing.
Sure.
It's a bill, H.R. 4601. It's called Intelligence Authorization Act for 2015. It's a disgrace of a bill, pretty much gives unlimited power to law enforcement to spy, have access to every communications of every American without due process. And I would like to have the confirmation. I think I know the answer, but I would like to have the confirmation how Congressman Gosar voted on this bill, if he supported it or not.
Let me check and see. HR 4601, you said?
Intelligence Authorization Act for 2015. Pretty much a travesty.
Okay. I'm not right offhand. I'm not exactly sure, but what I can do, I can get your information down. I can get back with you and get you a response on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
According to
yeah, I think you spoke with someone else in our office.
Yes.
But let me make sure I have your info here. What was your name again, sir?
My name is Luca, Luca.
Mm-hmm.
Last name is Zanna, Zanna.
Okay. And what's your address or email? What's the best way to get in touch?
Email is Zanna, Zanna.
Okay.
At Zanna, Zanna.us. And
Zanna at Zanna.us?
Perfect. By the way, just to give you some little help, according to govtrack.us, the HR 4681 Intelligence Authorization Act for fiscal year 2015, Congressman Gosar, according to this website, and I think it's pretty accurate, he voted, let me double check, no. Okay? So if that's the case, my best regards for the congressman, and I'm glad he's doing the right thing.
Okay.
Because this bill, it's like living in Nazi Germany. Seriously.
Yes.
It is disgrace. It's a disgrace. And I'm very proud at least he's doing the right thing. I don't care if the majority of the party is sold out, but at least he's standing the line. Thank you.
Okay. Well, good. Well, that's great. Well, thank you so much for calling, and I hope you have a great day.
Yeah, let him know to keep doing this, okay?
I definitely will, sir.
Thank
you so much.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
I've reached Speaker John Boehner's office at the U.S. House of Representatives. If you'd like to leave your comments regarding House issues and legislation, press 1. To reach a Speaker's representative, press 2 or stay on the line. You have reached Speaker of the House John Boehner's office. Please hold, and your call will be answered in the order received.
Hello. I need to talk to somebody. Speaker of the House, John Bonner, are you there? You are a sellout. That's what I want to say. You are a sellout. You sold us out with Obamacare. You sold us out with the amnesty. It's disgusting. You play golf with Obama. You cry like a baby. Grow up like a man. Represent the American people and stop being a puppet of the New World Order. That's the message I want to tell you. Unfortunately, your line, they are too busy. And if you're not answering, I'm sure NSA is taking notice. You are the disgrace of the American people. Forget about the Republican Party. And dear John Bonner, you are one of the many reasons why me, Gianluca Zanna, I had to burn my Republican registration card and become an independent. And by the way, one of the best days of my life, because you are a scumbag, that's why. You are a traitor, piece of garbage. Hope you can hear it, and I'm sure you will. Now, since I don't want to waste too much of my time, I have too many things to do. I have to pay for Obamacare pretty soon. My insurance went up more than 300%, and I'm going to be cut off in 2 weeks. I understand you have the exceptions.
We are experiencing heavy cold traffic.
Shut up.
If you'd like to hear information regarding jobs and the economy...
There is no jobs. There are no jobs. There is no economy.
Foreign policy, immigration policy...
Immigration policy, you sold us out, even
2.
there.
If your call is in regards to Obamacare or
up.
the VA...
You're selling us out. You sold us out on Obamacare. You sold us out on this immigration travesty. And more important, on this executive order. You, John Bonner, piece of crap. You understand what I mean? Piece of crap. You sold us out also with this executive order. You proclaiming Obama a dictator. You're supposed to fight. Impeach this bastard. Instead, what you do, you fund his executive order on immigration. You fund the Obamacare. So Republicans, wake up. Wake up. Because the Republican Party is being bought out from the same globalists that control the Democrat Party. Okay? Simple as that. There is no difference. There is no left. There is no right. There is just tyranny for all of us. Now, I wish to talk to the representative of John Bonner, but unfortunately it seems like today American people finally, I guess, they are waking up a little bit. At least they are calling. I wish they call a little bit early, but better later than never. Back on the air, you're listening to Love, Guns and Freedom with Luca-zanna. Long live to the Republic, and that to the New World Order. And screw John Bonner and all the phony Republicans and the democratic fascists on the other side.
La 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 It's always the same, a little every day. They're sucking our blood, they're stealing our lives away. If we are too busy, or we're too afraid, we're already lost our soul, we're already their slaves. Now is the time to stand for our rights. Now is the time to pray and fight. Fight! Revolution, rebirth of a nation. Now it's our time to show who we really are. Revolution, a peaceful solution, but we're not afraid to stand for what is right. The day will come when we'll all be gone. What are we waiting for? Let's live with honor. Let's go, they've pushed our limits. Where's our pride? Are we already dead? Or are we still alive? Look at the mirror, go find your soul. You are the answer now. You go! Revolution, rebirth of a nation. Now it's our time to show who we really are. Revolution, a peaceful solution, but we're not afraid to stand for what is right. Revolution, rebirth of a nation. Now it's our time.
Here we are. We're back. This is the final segment for the show. Today's show, December the 14th, 2014, here in America. And sometimes, I wish I could bring you better news, but the reality is that's what it is. And at this point, I hope every one of us, you listeners, I hope you're not just listeners, I hope you are doers. We can all do something. As I said, even just a couple of phone calls like I did, it's millions of us, millions. And it's few hundreds of them. When the moment that we show that we're alive, that we will not comply with this, we show that we don't want this, we need to start to do something. And look at yourself. Look at ourselves. Sometimes I'm guilty myself. I'm busy and doing many things during my life, try to survive right now, all these bills and things and the economy. We understand. But look around. Make a phone call. Call that congressman. And keep it accountable. That's the bottom line. Now, before we close, I would like to remind you, first of all, the special. It's a beautiful Christmas special. My 4 CDs that you can share pretty much with your family and friends. And one is, of course, Wake Up America CD. I published it in 2005. Then I have the latest one. Of course, it's Love, Guns, and Freedom. And then there is Don't Tread on Us. And then also my first one, CD, that it's all my pop, rock, whatever, different type of songs I compiled together. It's Luca Love Songs. 4 CDs for the price of just $24.99 and free shipping. Go to lovegunsfreedom.com and you can find that in the music section. And I appreciate for your help. Really help the show. Then also, don't forget, also we have a contest that I launched. It's Don't Tread on Us contest, and it's very simple. You can win a $15,000 membership, diamond membership at the Frontside Firearm Institute. It's amazing. The best firearm institute, in my opinion, here in this country, okay? Or at least the one that does the biggest volume of students, 50,000 students every year. They have an incredible curriculum. Free. All you got to do is download my song, Don't Tread on Us. You can find it on YouTube. Also, you can purchase on Amazon.com or iTunes. Don't Tread on Us by Gianluca Zanna. Download it, create a YouTube video using this music as a soundtrack, and do something creative. Whatever you think can pretty much share the message that we are not their slaves. And send it back to me to the website, through the website, lovegunsfreedom.com. There is my email. Send me the YouTube link, and the lucky one will win one beautiful Frontside Diamond membership. Also, for the first 20 participants, I'm going to share with them exactly 20 of my CDs free. And a little bit more, don't forget, there is also, if you're a single and you're looking for friendship or love, or even just for networking, for pretty much like-minded people, business opportunities even, go to www.freedomlovers.us. Freedomlover.us is a 100% free community for freedom-minded individuals. You can go there, create an account, upload your photos, your videos, you have text messages, you have video messages, you have chat rooms, and you can share your projects and also find like-minded people. And I hope you can find somebody also you can share more than just political ideals, but also quality of life, okay? And that's pretty much. Now, the last thing I would like to tell you, it is my new website. I'm also a painter, or at least I used to be a painter when I was a teenager in Italy, and then I found this again a couple of years ago, and now I'm launching my own virtual gallery. Go to www.zanna, Z-A-N-N-A, art, A-R-T.com, zannaart.com, and you can find my paintings and also some other things that you may find interesting about my art. And it's also another way to support the show. You can get a print, a postcards, or even one of my paintings. And I have an incredible way to pretty much share my paintings with you. I don't set the price. You set the price. So you may find it interesting. Every offer is welcome. Now, today was a long show as usual, a lot of information, but it's been my pleasure, my honor to be with you. And I want to also tell you that be tuned for next Sunday. Amazing information about the United Nations. Don't go away.